Just say run, and I will follow you anywhere. And you have my heart, even when I am not there. Just say run. Just say run, and I will follow you anywhere. And you have my heart, even when I am not there. Just say run. Just say run, and I will follow you anywhere. And you have my heart, even when I am not there. Just say run. Just say run, and I will follow you anywhere. And you have my heart, even when I am not there. Just say run. Just say follow you anywhere. And you have my heart, even when I am not there. Just say run.
Welcome back to the W1 Sim Series.
What is going to be a cutthroat championship clash.
20 cars line up under the lights. 4 and 5 red lights.
We welcome you to W1. Wheel to wheel, heading through lane car. They're going to go side by side, coming in towards Baggins and Beckett. Who's bravest? Fantastic move from Cheryl Bucknell. But it's not over yet. The Haas comes back at her. Big crash though, and she leads, she crashes, she's round.
What a hard-fought victory that was. That is just spectacular.
But your drivers champion W1 Sim Series. What a season they have had.
Well, a very good morning, good evening, or good afternoon to wherever you may be in the world, and welcome back to the W1 Sim Series. After some shenanigans out in Barcelona, we head only slightly up to the Spanish capital. We're talking, of course, about the only circuit that can be described as hell on earth. We're talking about Madrid and the Madrid Street Circuit, one that our drivers will never livingly lay down as they voted for this. Yes, I still have the results of that vote, which I will share with you later, but have all hated in the practice week running up to it. My name's Tom Knight. It's been a pleasure to head through this season with you. And Carl, an absolute pleasure to be in the box with you once again.
Pleasure to be in the box, and a pleasure to do what is going to be the best hate watch of Madrid you have ever seen on the internet. I mean, for God's sake. It is... I don't even know how to describe it. Soulless, unnecessary, abhorrent. That's just my ex-girlfriend, really. But Madrid applies to those adjectives as well. I think, you know, having driven it myself, I can't, I've tried, okay? I've tried to wheedle my way in. I've tried to get used to it. I don't like it. It's disgraceful. But if nothing else, I think we're going to be happy we're sitting in the box today for this.
Absolutely. I've never driven a 2026 2026 regulation Formula 1 car. Let's try that again. And I've never driven the Madrid circuit. I think if I ever tried both, I'd want to be put down. Let's leave it that way. Anyway, let's move across to the circuit. Let's have a first look at this street circuit then. 3.3 miles, 22 turns for our drivers to try and navigate, and benefiting that is 2 active aero straights pretty much in the first sector alone, quite exclusively on the runs down to turn 1 and turns 4. The rest of the circuit is going to be interesting. It's one where our drivers are going to have to be both technically and almost aware of everything else that is going on around them, because there are some very narrow chicanes, most notably that run through turn 5 and turn 6, where the curbs have been updated so you can't cut it anymore. However, that does mean you can be launched into outer space.
Yeah, it was interesting planning and preparation for the anticipation of cutting it. But I think, you know, it was best described to all the drivers when they were briefed on what was to come with the absolute anarchy of this circuit. And that is anticipation and acclimatization. That is what's going to win it out there. I don't think it's necessarily going to be the fastest driver that wins today. It's going to be the person that's by far and away the most consistent. And Madrid doesn't really lend itself to consistency that well.
It doesn't. It's a really, really tough circuit to try and replicate the same lap time and time again. There's so many little variables that you have to try and get right every single time. Corner in, corner out. And even if you try and go through too wide through a majority of these corners, the track tends to say no. But before we get into that, before we get into qualifying, 18 minutes where drivers will try and set the fastest lap of the afternoon without invalidating or breaking a wing or losing their suspension or crashing into another car. Let's go ahead and have a look at the drivers that are taking part in today's outfit, Carl. Of course, we have to give a massive shout out to Penguin Victoria, who I believe did 7 iterations of this lineup graphic, because there was a lot of changes last minute, bless her.
Quite a few, and as a result we are left with this simply rapturous roster of drivers. On the left-hand side first, Sonnet is back from her adventures around the world, and by that I mean the Netherlands. She is back, and she is in the Ferrari alongside Emma Clay, championship leader, of course. Alexis Mason is the Lone Ranger in the Silver Arrows. You have got both Audi Aura participants of Regan Boylan and Jazz Luna. Hevar and Lauren Nodding in the Williams, and then you've got in Alpine Sarah Hardy reserving in alongside Alicia Hofflack. Finally in Haas, Angel Kirby, Wi-Fi connection, and Nicole Machuca rounding out that lineup.
Absolutely. And then it's a new driver stepping in, quite literally and metaphorically, for the McLaren racing team. Ashley Dart makes her debut in the W1 Sim Series alongside Season 1 champion of Lee Woodward. It's unchanged at Red Bull with Lainey Millican and Jessica Ball alongside one another. Carlotta Marchi, the Italian stallion, alongside Lily Browning, who steps in to V-Carb. Unchanged at Aston Martin, which until about 2 minutes before the race, we didn't think it was going to be that way. So both Esme Chambers and Katie Grafton. And of course, the Americans stepping in to the Cadillacs is Zara Shahsavari and Catherine Thielking, making an unchanged lineup for Team Cadillac here this afternoon. Carl, I don't want to miss a minute of this qualifying, and we're underway.
Oh, I could. But welcome to the Madrid regardless, ladies and gentlemen. And this is where it all gets very interesting. Who's prepared the most? Who's willing to lay their time on the table the most? Who's willing to get up and close and personal with every single barrier around the Madrid track? That is the big conundrum. The chaos will be sprinkled, and we'll have every single answer all around. First on the track, rather uncustomary, it's Catherine Thielking taking to the Madrid circuit first. Usually Esme Chambers that kicks us off in the qualifying start, but it will be the championship chaser, second place, of course, last time out in part 1 of the Spanish double-header. But now we're in the Spanish capital. It's much more claustrophobic, and she's got to make every millimetre count.
She absolutely does, and here we go then. Let's go around the final quarter on board for a lap with Catherine Thielking, and the run down towards turn 1 will ensue. The straight line mode opening in this run down to the first few corners. 2 and 3 come at you rather nice and quickly. There is no room for error in the immediate sectors. Through 3, this fast right-hander, and the run down towards 4, you will feel the impending doom of that 5-6 chicane.
You have to lift off. You're waiting for that 50-metre board to emerge in your sight, and it has. Take a little bit of the first curve, lots of the second curve. Judged pretty damn perfectly by Catherine Thielking. This curve also take lots of the inside. Careful of the outside wall. Short shift if you need to keep the car in its power band. Now it's all about the flow. Get so close to that first wall. Use the curb to help it rotate. The Cadillac complying absolutely beautifully. And then you use the paint on the inside, a whisker away from snapping off potentially into a spin or getting the lap invalidated. It's now it's a bit more of a relaxed run to the end, but there's no time for breathing. You've still got to have your wits about you to arguably the most difficult corner on the track. Turn 17. Curved braking zone. Take all the inside curb you can. And as you can see there, the car's sliding a lot.
Good for the Ferrari, staying out of the way as they exit through the tunnel for Thielking. Just a few more corners to try and navigate now. Down towards turn 20, which is, I believe, the roundabout on this circuit. They make their way through the right-hander of 21 and 22, both coming their way, which does include pit entry just to the right-hand side. You see it there on your screens. And for Thielking, coming around this final corner, what will be the benchmark for all the other drivers? It's a 1:30.4, a very strong start from Thielking.
Not bad at all. We're expecting 29s to crop up at some point in this qualifying session, but a 30.4, nothing to turn your snout up at. Long, long way to go here in Madrid. Alexis Mason, car shimmying and shaking through the penultimate corner as he tries to win on the power. It doesn't want to comply. Will it be fastest? Only just, though. A lot of time lost in that penultimate corner. 1 minute 30.3. Emma Clay not too far off the benchmark either. We're going to see a pretty big disparity, I would imagine. A lot of people will have put a lot of practice into this, but it all comes down to confidence and how much you're willing to push the car to its limit. And if there's one person we know that can do that, Lee Woodward is one of them. Miss Nutrix back in the Ferrari car, keeping it clean so far.
Let's see what they're able to muster up through the long right-hander of turns 12 and into 13. The tight left-hander which comes at you rather quickly, coming down from that ascent that you face yourself through the escapades of turn 12 and through the flowing 14, 15 into 16 and 17. The double right-hander that will come at you in a few moments' time. I must admit, as much as I hate the circuit, and we're going to mention this a few times, it is beautiful. I have no hate for the designers of it. It's just a poor circuit.
I would agree on maybe one of those points. Right, Miss Nutrix through the hairpin corner. Oh, just give me a hate watch. There's a Williams off in the runoff area. And I imagine it will be, might well be Laura Nodding, and it is. Lauren nodding off in the runoff zone, invalidated the lap anyway. I'm curious where Miss Nutrix is going to emerge on this wonderful timesheet. Through the final corner went the Ferrari. 4th place for Miss Nutrix. Hello. Ferrari 3 and 4. And an almighty return to W1 begins in a big way.
Absolutely fantastic start from Miss Nutrix. Ferrari 3 and 4 as it stands on your timing sheets at the moment. It's Alexis Mason that stands on top with Theo King just a 10th and some change behind. Jess Ball in 5th place. It's Lee Woodward in 6th. Heather 7th. It's Lily Browning then in 8th. So we do have a brief change as I believe one of the cars comes across the line. It's then Sarah Hardy 9th. Regan Boylan up in the top 10 with Katie Grafton, Jazz Luna, Zara Shahsavari. The drivers that have set lap times at the moment. We're still waiting on times from Lainey Milligan, Ashley Dart. That's Esme Chambers we're riding on board with at the moment. And of course, Nicole Machuca, Lauren Nodding and Carlotta Markey. If you're wondering what is happening to Alicia Hoflack, a qualifying ban from last week out in Barcelona. So she will be starting from 20th place.
Esme Chambers bailing on her first flying lap as well. She sent shockwaves through Barrier at the exit of what is turn number 11 before the sweeping banked corner of turn number 12. So big damage for the Aston Martin. Carlotta Marchi, though, still very much out on a lap. She makes her way through the final corner. We've got Ashley Dart as well. Welcome to W1 Sim Series, and you're up in the Papaya Pro machine. Carlotta Marchi goes 7th place. Great first time. Brilliant banker on the board for the RB driver, and that's only going to get better as she pushes the limits further out there.
Reading along in chat, Alexis Mason joins us and saying, well, that's her personal best that she's done during practice. So if anyone can go faster, Alexis Mason will also have to go faster than her personal best. More yellow flags up and down the circuit as drivers just get accustomed to this Madrid circuit. It's a very difficult one to try and master, and especially if you have very short notice. That was a bit of front wing there as they made their way in towards turn 22, the final corner. Quite an easy one to lose the car at, actually, is turn 21, which absolutely is where that would have happened. Lee Woodward just diving into pit road. More drivers out and out. That's the likes of Heather, who's come to join us here in Madrid, making her way under the tunnel through turn 7 and turns 8, which you come up to the crest of this hill here, Carl, and if you're running the racing line, it lies to you.
It does lie to you. I believe they were supposed to fix it. However, inconclusive. Who knows? But the other thing as well, that corner is going to be one to watch in the race. We'll get on to things like strategy and whatnot in a little bit, but the tyres, especially on the softer compounds, the braking becomes extremely spongy as you get through that stint, as the tyres lose their optimal grip. So beware, you'll see a lot of drivers just misjudging the braking, getting it wrong, sailing on straight into a potential crash. Hopefully not the case though, and luckily in qualifying they have all the grip in the world, and that's the other point to make. They can spend all the time in the world practicing on their own, doing lap after lap after lap, getting themselves acclimatized, get the cohesion with the Madrid circuit. But it only works so well. As soon as you get online, that pressure changes. The switch is flicked, and suddenly you've got to do it in front with all the eyes watching you.
You're absolutely right. It's a real game changer, going from qualifying where it is you against yourself in all essence versus you against 19 other drivers that are taking to the field as well. We rejoin with Ashley Dart making her way through turn 17 and through the flowy section that finds its way down to turn 20. That tight left-hander, which you have to try and navigate to the best of your ability. Slamming on the anchors all the way down to about 50 miles an hour, throwing the Papaya machine in to the final 2 corners of this circuit. This will be their first time on the board for this afternoon. I must reiterate here, Carl, Ashley has had less than an hour's notice that she's racing here in Madrid today, and she goes 7th fastest.
Well, what a way to announce yourself onto the W1 stage. Ash Dart, welcome to the crazy gang. And what a start she's had. Heather trying to improve her time through turns 10 and 11. Keep it out of the wall. Plenty of real estate left on the right-hand side, but that's exactly what she needs to do. Get laps on the board, ramp it up from there. Regan Boylan is also improving, I can tell you. Just behind the Williams driver, Ferrari dutifully gets out of the way of either Emma Clay or Miss Nutrix. Towards that tricky turn number 17, Heather currently sits in 9th place. Impressive showing, but plenty of time to find. How does she judge turn 17? The answer is very nicely indeed. Car just bunny hops over the curbs, gets itself back onto terra firma, and now it is all out attack through 18 and 19.
Absolutely right. Down to 20. Once again, we'll slam on the anchors of that Atlassian Williams racing car. Just 2 more corners to try and navigate for Heather, improving in the first and the second sector. Personal best in the both of those. And with just one more corner to try and navigate, what can Heather do here? When up against the timekeeper slot, crosses the line, improves by just shy of a second, goes 8th fastest here in Madrid, and that is a very strong result so far. Lily Browning's been in the Twitch chat as well. First and foremost, hello. And they said the first banker lap didn't feel nice. I hope you're prepared to do a lot more laps over the course of this race. One driver we have got to talk about, of course, Def Not Jazz. We still wonder who she is, of course. But Def Not Jazz making their way through down towards turn 20 on what looks to be potentially an in-lap, but they did improve in the first sector.
Look like it. Through the penultimate corner, we can judge the body language of the Audi as well. A little bit wide of the apex. Still look like she's pushing on decently well, but it is a retreat into pit row. Yellow flag, though, towards, well, Zara Shahsavari's gone past it. Curious Fire going through the penultimate corner and towards the final corner. And a lot of drivers trying to take as much speed as possible. You can't exactly make a case for impeding. No, Zara's improved by half a second. This is just how the drivers are weaning themselves in to the Madrid track. So Esme Chambers might not have had the optimal start to the lap, but she can make free real estate everywhere else. Alexis Mason and Catherine Thilking were going to go for second flying laps, but they've bailed. Emma Clay has not, though. She's a 10th of a second up. Couple more attempts in that in the final sector. Provisional pole will be hers.
Interesting to note as well, I was just watching the laps on board, and it was actually Esme Chambers finishing a lap there. She improved up to 8th fastest, so just caught up to Zara by an nth degree. It's hard to do, it's hard to judge, especially on a brand new circuit. Flies past her Williams, does Emma Clay, and now down towards turn 22, the final on this Madrid circuit. Can she try and reclaim top spot like she's done so many times before? That she can! Emma Clay, 130 on the nose, and goes fastest of the session so far.
Championship leader does championship leader things. Pole position by 0.3 of a second. Sonna's also out there improving. Lee Woodward also looking to make ends meet. Second Ferrari soon to cross the line. Not an improvement, but could have bailed on the lap. Lee Woodward very much on it, though. Yes, Sonna looks like she's attacking it again through turns 1 and turns 2. Battery decently full. There you go. Just crests off, and that will be most definitely a retreat to the pit lane. Lee Woodward, though, coming up towards turn number 8, couple of seconds down, has already bailed.
I think last lap around was their running lap, and this looks to be an in-lap again for Lee Woodward, just staying on schedule as to what we'd expect for the majority of drivers. Let's have a look at Lily Browning, who has unfortunately invalidated that run. Let's have a quick check on the battery and see what situation they find themselves in. I don't think they've shared their data with us, because that can't be right. They haven't shared their data with us, so we can't quite see what battery level Lily Browning is on. But nonetheless, rounding into the penultimate corner, and will this be a retreat back to the pits? No, it looks like they've recharged enough to go again. So for Browning, another lap well and truly on the cards. More drivers are improving, of course, up and down the field. We've got Def Not Jazz in pit road. Lauren Noddy making her way back out once again. Cutie Bunny, that's Sarah Hardy, who is making their way through the circuit at the moment, not improving through the first sector, but easily to get caught up. Let's have a look on board with Carlotta Markey. Again, not improving, but could, with a 10th in hand, could find time in the second and third.
Always those first few curbs, turns 1 and 2, and then turn 5 and 6. You get them hooked up, you are laughing for the rest of the lap. If you don't get them quite hooked up, you're chasing your own time and your own tail. It's a horrible feeling around this track that you have to rely on obliterating some curbs, but that is the way in F126. Carlotta Marchi goes through the left-hander of turn number 13, and then through the right and through the left. A few other people out there on laps. Regan Boylan started another flying lap, looking to elevate herself from 13th place. No, she's got plenty of pace in the tank. She gets anywhere near her personal best. She's fighting at the front, and that would be quite something. So there's plenty of potential there. But like I say, the pressure is different. You've got to make it happen when all the eyes are boring into your every turn of the wheel. 2 corners to go for Carlotta Marchi. Does she peel into pit row? Nope, she's going to make it happen.
She is. Through the final corner then for Carlotta Markey up towards the line. She crosses it, goes 6.5 tenths faster, finds herself in 7th fastest. Let's check in with Regan Boylan, doing a very similar improvement through the second sector. Personal best in the first and the second for the lead Audi driver as it stands at the moment. In towards the last 3 corners of this circuit. They'll have a car in front of them. There's a car in the wall. Who's that? Is that Lauren Noddy? We'll stay on board with Regan Boylan for the moment as they've got one more corner to try and navigate. They are improving. How much did they lose though? With that Williams facing the wrong way towards the line for Boylan. Goes 5th fastest, does Regan.
Take a bow, Regan Boylan. Big money Regs, more like Big Madrid Regs, that's the one. Too easy. Already acclimatised to the street circuit, 5th place for the Audi driver. 3 minutes left to go in this session. Has been suffering with technical issues, basically all the way up to the lead into this Madrid round. And yet that time is something she can absolutely be proud of. She goes absolutely airborne over the curbs. In celebration, I have no doubt. Lily Browning and Hev are still out there. In fact, many other people making their way out because now it is crunch time. 2.5 minutes to go in this session. And now it is that final flurry. Hevart going through turn number 13, rapidly making her way towards the end of Sector 2. Wonder what she's got on the table.
All of those questions will be answered in the next few seconds as they cross that timing split in, not improving by 0.2 of a second. They make their way through turn 17 under the bridge, which of course is going to be, I'm going to say, a key overtaking spot in this circuit, but again, it is a very narrow part of the circuit and one that is going to be absolutely unforgiving. Getting somewhat of a tow from the Aston Martin in front of them, that's probably going to be Katie Grafton, if I've got that right. It is indeed Katie Grafton on an outlap here, pulls out of the way, allows Heather through. Good sportsmanship from the Aston Martin. Can Heather find time in the final corner or out of the final corner? Up towards the line, doesn't find time. 2.7 tenths down on their previous best lap. We'll see, and you're right in saying we are getting close to that final run of form. And is that damage on Lily Browning's car? It almost certainly is. Front right end plate, I think, missing for that V-Cub. Yeah, that's a heavy contact with the wall, I think, for Lily Browning.
It is indeed. RB driver getting as far out of the way as possible. Going for some wall riding as well. That will not work in the race. Sarah Shah-Savari, meanwhile, in the form of Curious Fire, is setting the timing sheets ablaze in terms of personal bests. Half a second up on her current timer. Haas in the background also going rather wide as she makes her way towards turn number 17. Does the Ferrari get out of the way? Yes, they do. Absolutely lovely stuff. 3 tenths to the good as she makes her way through the second sector split. Taxi driver by night in many ways in Madrid. However, she has another occupation during the day, and that is absolutely glorious racing. Through the hairpin corner goes the Cadillac driver, her teammate, vying for pole position. Maybe hasn't acclimatized as well to the Madrid track, but it doesn't matter. We don't care. If it's a personal best, it's an improvement. That journey means so much more. Across the line, into the 35s, 2 seconds nearly worth of improvement. And Zara should be extremely proud of that one.
That she should. Let's have a look at her teammate as well, Catherine Thielking, improving by just shy of 0.3 of a second to be the first of the front 3 to set their lap proper here with just 20 seconds remaining in qualifying. Lots of cars moving out of the way. That's Lily Browning on the right hand side doing the right thing, just staying out of the way of other drivers making their way through. It's a tough circuit to try and stay out of the way of those on hot laps, but Catherine Thielking, third at the moment, needs to find just shy of 0.4, hits the wall in the final corner. Into the 29s goes Catherine Thielking. Let's have a look at Alexis Mason doing the same thing, improving by 0.3 of a second now through the second sector up towards the final line for Alexis Mason, looking to try and take away provisional pole position. Hits the wall as well. Second fastest is all she's able to manage. What can Emma Clay do here?
Championship leader looking to take Madrid on smoke, quite frankly. Paint the town red. Hairpin corner to arrive. Alexis Mason, for full disclosure, has a 2-place grid penalty after the Barcelona qualifying session last time out. Means the most she can hope for is 4th place, and it could be even less than that. Emma Clay through the final corner. Can she prize pole position back? No, she can't. Into the 29s. That's as much as she'll get. Lee Woodward also can't do it. The Season 1 champion has to settle for 4th place. Miss Nutrix through the penultimate corner. 1 corner to go for her qualifying session, and it looks like it's going to be shy of the mark. And yes, but still, P7 for her return, and of Madrid of all places, as Ash goes into P9 on a 32.1. Has Jessica Ball got anything left? Let's find out. Crosses the line. Yes, she does. A 31.7 keeps her in 8th place. And you know what? For a qualifying session, I think we'll take that.
I think we absolutely are. What a qualifying we have just seen. Catherine Thielking, one of 3 drivers to make their way into the 1 minute 29s, beat off Alexis Mason by 0.08 of a second, and Emma Clay by 114 thousandths of a second. So incredibly close margins up at the top. But of course, when it comes to racing here in W1, we know qualifying is one thing. Race day is a complete other variable. But of course, this is how your grid is going to stack up for race day with the addition of Angel Kirby, who thankfully, to the EA gods, has managed to get herself back into the session. So we will have 21 ready to go racing. Effectively, it will be Catherine Thielking and Emma Clay on the front row of the grid. Alexis Mason will start from 4th, which means Lee Woodward will jump up to 3rd place. Will start on the 2nd row on the proper side of the grid. Alexis will drop down into 4th. Esme Chambers from 5th. Regan Boylan, a career best, I believe, qualifying in 6th place. It's then Miss Nutrix, Jessica Ball, Ash Darts, debuting from 9th place with Carlotta Markey, Heather, of course, and then we'll run through your complete rest of the order. Carl, why don't you take us through it?
With pleasure, my friend. Catherine Thielking, your pole sitter for Madring. Alexis Mason in 2nd, but with a grid penalty. Shuffled down to 4th. It means the top 3 in the championship are 1, 2, and 3. Esme Chambers in 5th, with Regan Boylan brilliantly in 6th place. Miss Nutrix and Jessica Ball round out the 4th row, with Ash Dart and Carlotta Marchi rounding out the top 10. You then have Heather, Lily Browning, Def Not Jazz, Sarah Hardy, Katie Grafton, Zara Shahsavari, Lainey Milligan, Nicole Machuca, Lauren Nodding, and then finally Alicia Hofflack rounding out the top 20. Angel Kirby is here as well, now that her Wi-Fi connection has been bestowed with glorious purpose.
Absolutely. All 21 drivers getting ready and racing. It's the best thing to see, because if a driver misses out due to an internet glitch or a game glitch, it's the worst feeling in the world, and I know that for a fact. And I just, I want to just quickly, I know we've just taken us back to cameras, just a quick look over the circuit. I appreciate there's going to be a lobby restart. That's looking awfully overcast.
It is a little bit.
Yeah.
They were fearing the potential chance of rain, just to make it, a little bit more interesting. It could well get interesting, ladies and gentlemen. The weather was an element perhaps not a lot of you would have considered, but it's not always the case in sunny Spain.
Absolutely, and I promise, and I made this promise to the drivers, I haven't rigged it to be wet. I know I enjoy a wet race, it's funny in the wet race, I've kept things fair, it is in the hands of the server gods as to which way this race goes. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it is going to stay dry. No one is doing a rain dance, I can almost assure you of that one. But same old issues. We are going to be going to a lobby reset. Have been told as well, Regan Boylan's wheel disconnected on the final corner of their lap. They were on for a personal best, but still, starting from 6th fastest, what could have been in Madrid. We look at the rest of the... Well, actually, you know what? I was going to mention the rest of the calendar. Why don't we go and have a look at the rest of the calendar?
Well, go on, we'll have a look. Of course we'll have a look. Madrid today, we're on the 2nd row of the calendar, ladies and gentlemen. We're then following it with Texas and Las Vegas. And then 2 double headers. You want to pluralise to plural, you're a monster. And that's why we're having a break week. Netherlands, Mexico and Saudi Arabia see us home for a scintillating Season 2. But we're nearly at the halfway point already. That's gone rather quickly, I feel. Even with a break week, we've managed to arrive at Madrid. Everyone's in one piece. But, I think we have... it's in the room. We have to address said elephant. Who on earth thought voting for Madring was a good idea?
Apparently, all of the drivers. And I'm very close to pulling up. Let me try and find it, because I think I've got it in our staff chat somewhere. I saved the results of the poll, because I knew it would come back.
He has receipts.
I'd always bring receipts. You should know this by now. Let me try and find it. I've lost it, which is annoying.
Makes him a menace on the Sparks card. Whilst he does that, ladies and gentlemen, and prizes away the vote that was Madring, which is unfortunate, race day is going to be interesting. Particularly, it doesn't matter what the weather is. If it stays dry, it's going to be interesting in its own right. Strategy, it's a one-stop. You go mediums onto hards. The mediums last about 10 laps, and then you might as well be driving on cheese. You've then got the hards, which last forever and feel like too much like cheese, which is kind of interesting. The point being that why are the mediums only lasting 10 laps? I don't know. They're only a compound different in terms of hardness, so it doesn't really make sense. But the thing is that they need to be very careful, because understeer doesn't creep in, it hugs your tyres and doesn't allow itself permission to do so before that. So they just need to be careful. Those high-speed corners are going to catch a lot of people out. We already saw it in qualifying, and those tyres were brand spanking new. So when the tyres get old and they need to just take them into that first pit stop window, they need to be oh so careful, because they can wreck their race in an instant.
That they absolutely do. Lots to look out for. And I have managed to find the receipts of the track voting. So I'll just run through the top, 10 very quickly. We'll go, if I can count in reverse order, if I can get there quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So, starting in 10th place was Bahrain. A good circuit. We ran it in one of the pre-season races. We ran it in Season 1. Meh. Abu Dhabi. Again, a track we ran in Season 1. I'm sensing a theme here. Monza. A track we ran in Season 1. Yeah, you get the picture. Imola, we ran that in Season 2 because we didn't see that in Season 1. Been a fantastic circuit. We then headed to Silverstone, which of course we saw, I believe, in pre-season and in round 1 and last season. Brazil was in the top 10, as was Belgium, Australia and Austria. That's difficult to say back to back. They were your top 2. Madrid, out of 24 people that voted, 23 of them voted for Madrid. I take none of the blame for this. This is all on you.
And suddenly, I feel like sympathising a lot less, ladies and gentlemen. Because they did this to themselves. Madge is also saying, and hello Madge, by the way, interesting question here. What if I use Baby Bells as my wheels? Well, who do you think you are? Frida Flintstone? That's an interesting adaptation you've made there. So, preferably don't use that. You're better off on Pirellis, believe it or not. The other thing to consider as well, TK, is there's going to be a lot of safety cars, I fear.
Yes. Very narrow walls, very close circuit. Kind of like Monaco, but a lot quicker and a lot less forgiving. Because I think even in Monaco, some of the high speeds, like when you exit out the tunnel into the chicane, you've got that, albeit very limited, and you've got to make that judgment quickly. You've got the runoff at the exit. You don't typically have this in Madrid because it is that street circuit that was designed on the back of a napkin in a restaurant probably somewhere. So yeah, there's a lot to try and consider. There is no room for error in this circuit, and that's what makes it so, I don't want to say deadly, that's the wrong word for it, but it makes it so dangerous.
Lethal is a good word, to be fair. I like it. I think, the way I see it is that someone one day at F1 HQ, allegedly, by the way, I don't want to get cancelled, allegedly had a cassette tape, they dropped it, all the film fell out, it fell in the shape of Madrid, and they went, you know what, that's a track right there. We're going to put that on the calendar, and we're going to put it in Madrid, because Spain is completely economically sound.
Yeah.
So, that was good planning on their part, and now we're going there. Lee Woodward is saying that she regrets that choice, so you should. It's a terrible idea. But this is what you put yourself in for, and me and TK are going to enjoy it very much indeed.
We absolutely are. I think Madrid is one of the circuits that I was really looking forward to, because I've commentated for the Created Series here, where we saw carnage, and nothing short of it. Because again, I think it was one of the season openers as well, so it was really early in the calendar. No one really knew the regs yet, so it was all very new to everybody, including ourselves as well. We've headed there, we've had 5 rounds of the calendar now, including this one. So there should be a lot more experience in this regulation of cars. Not that the drivers like it anymore. If anything, they've grown more of a resentment to continue their way through this circuit. They'll all be very happy to head to Kota next week. I'm almost assured of that. And hey, even Vegas might get some positive reception for once in its life.
It probably will, but I think we'll see, both of us, the same kind of thing that we both saw in Creator Series, which is that the drivers were learning as they went along, in terms of as the race went on. So they gradually developed consistency. They understood what curbs you could take, what curbs you couldn't take, where to use the battery, where the overtaking points were. I feel like we'll see that similar kind of thing up and down the field. So in that sense, rather getting away from hate watching Madrid for 2 seconds as much as we love it, it's going to be a really interesting race because of that.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be a circuit that I think, as you rightly said, will get better as the race goes on. I think lap 1 will be very tentative, and a lot of the drivers will feel that way. It's a 29-lap Grand Prix, so you will see maybe in the first 10 laps drivers just kind of understanding and making their way through. Hopefully, it's not going to rain, but I can't promise anything because it is on dynamic and has been for the course of the season, with the exception of when it was broken. Classic EA, right? Esports ready game. But yeah, there's a lot of variables in this circuit still. Lots even we don't know what's going to happen. And I think as we get further and further into this race, the driving's going to gradually become better.
Yes, I think so. But also, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, I think. I mean, you consider the overtaking points at Madrid. You've got to think realistically, you've got start, finish straight into turn 1 and 2, because you can go over the curbs, loads of space there. You've got the run down to turn 5 and 6. If anyone goes side by turn 5 and 6, 1, they're brave, but 2, also they have a death sentence, because the sausage curbs now will just spit them out in a non-opportune direction. So don't go there unless you want a death sentence, is really my point I'm getting at. Turn 8 as well, but then equally you've got to have complete commitment.
Yeah.
And that's a bit of a problem when there's so many walls nearby, and you're 1 millimeter away from absolute perfection, or on the other side, pushing someone into a wall and giving yourself a stewarding ticket.
You're absolutely right. And one thing I think we need to mention as well, moving slightly away from the racing, has reminded me in the drivers' chat, I think they've announced it in the drivers' chat, and it's something that we will learn as we go through to next week. But it's 2 drivers' last race as a full-time driver inside of the W1 Sim Series. Both Esme Chambers and Jessica Ball have decided to step down from their full-time seats due to other commitments in their life, which is completely understandable. But it's just been fantastic watching them both race over the course of a season and a half. And, you know, we wish them absolutely all the best. Jess is staying with us as part of the administration team and will be helping behind the scenes a lot of the work. I think Esme is staying with us for a reserve driver role as and when they're available. But it has been fantastic to watch them both drive over the course of Season 2, learn, develop and get better. And we wish them all the best in today's race.
Oh, I completely echo that sentiment. Honestly, I think, you know, you've got 2 drivers that have given... I mean, every single driver gives so much, but Esme, her pace is absolutely excellent. She provides a lot of on-track entertainment. Jessica Ball, the amount of work she's done for W1, I don't think either myself or Tom can overstate just how much she's done and how important this has been to get off the ground and get to this point. Now we're 2.5 seasons in to something that's developed its own life, that's become its own wonderful thing, and she's part of that, and she can take such great pride in that as being part of that background operation. So, I mean, a huge credit to them both. Of course, they're not leaving W1 forever, which is also wonderful news. So they'll still be around, which is great. But just go out there, enjoy it. Enjoy the chaos as much as it's Madrid. Enjoy the chaos. We're going to have fun. Hope all of you have fun as well.
Absolutely. It is going to be a good race. Wherever you are in the world watching, whether you're a driver in chat, at this point, you should probably go and get ready for the race. If you are just tuning in as well, watching along for the race, we thank you for your continued support as well. It means a lot to put these shows on and put the race on, because there wouldn't be a show without you guys watching. It means the absolute world to see where W1 has come over the last few weeks and few months, and, you know, in the last year, realistically, as well. We will have more announcements going up over the course of next week as to who will be replacing both Jess and Esme, but we thought for the time being, we'll let them run their races. We'll let them have Madrid. So both of them wanted to end at Madrid, quite rightly so. They wanted to experience the new circuit. And I'm sure tonight there will be great expectations upon them. Looking forward to the races. But whilst we've got this brief downtime, it does look a little bit cloudy out in Madrid. Why don't you let us know who you think is going to take the race win here today? Will it be our pole sitter of Catherine Thielking? Will it be someone else entirely? Will we see Angel Kirby go from last to first? We want to hear from you, whether you're watching along on Twitch and or YouTube, because we're ready to go racing.
I want to see Angel Kirby go from last to first. That'd be cracking content. Do it. Absolutely do it. I'd be all up for that personally, but I think it's good. It's an interesting one, because I think a surprise will definitely be sprung. You've had someone, basically all the winners this season have won previously in W1. Thielking, Lee Woodward, Emma Clay. We're waiting for somebody new to win in the league format. And I think this track, if there's any chance of that happening, it's going to be this one. I don't know who. I'm still going to say Thielking's probably going to do it, but there's bound to be somebody that just springs a surprise, whether it's a podium, whether it's big points or otherwise, and we're all here for it.
Absolutely right. And speaking of big points as well, of course, Lily Browning last week, we had the post up on our socials, tripling, I think quadrupling actually, her season points in one race last time out in Barcelona. A career best finish of 9th place after 3 consecutive 15th place finishes, all in the points, which in itself is a fantastic achievement. But to come 9th last week, score a whole heap of points, and looking to replicate that today. I've just seen them in the chat saying, feeling ill again, yikes. Well, hopefully, Lily, you can cool yourself down and get ready to go racing. There will be probably a lot of safety car periods to be able to do so and just get ready. But here we go then. All drivers under the lights here in Madrid. 5 lights are lit. And the lights go out, and we go racing. Jazz Luna jumped the start, as did Sarah Hardy as well. So 2 drivers serving drive-through penalties in towards the first corner. Cut across the nose was Thielking. It's Emma Clay that had to hold. Sarah Hardy was disqualified for parking in a dangerous location, but running down towards the chicane of 5, 6 and 7, it's Thielking that leads from Clay, from Woodward and Mason. Emma gets past Jessica Ball further back. The rest of the field having to sort themselves out. Does anybody try too wide through here further back in the field? Yes, they they do. That's Lillian, I believe. Def Not Jazz trying it as they try and make their way through the chicane. As lots of cars just get used to this Madrid circuit. Katie Grafton and Zara Shah Savari fighting as they crest the hill through turn 8 and down through 9. Front wings already on this circuit. As I believe we got more cars facing damage as well. Lily Browning holding off Jazz Luna rather well as they make their way through the banking of turn 12. But what a race start.
Mason's going for it on Lee Woodward as well. Tried it into turn 13. Couldn't make it happen. Maybe a move into turn 17 as well, but the braking zones creep up so quickly and so out of sight that even at the blind apex, just take your time. You don't need to ruin yourself. You've got 29 laps to do that potentially. At the moment though, looking like everybody making their way through cleanly, other than turn 5 and 6. Theo King though, exemplary start. Scorcher as well, cut ahead, made it happen. She's got the track position and that could be crucial. Emma Clay and her trying to couple away as Lily Browning and Def Not Jazz look to have a brief spat. It's Ashley Dart that has had a spat with one of Barrier. Phasing through Jessica Ball. It's an unorthodox overtake. However, it's also a retreat to the pit lane and it had to be. Big knock into the back of the McLaren from Def Not Jazz as she serves her drive-through penalty. We head onto the straight for the second time though. Plenty of boost from both Theo King and Emma Clay. You have to be right alongside into turn 5 and 6. It's not going to happen for the time being.
I don't think it is. Carlotta Markey off pace. You can see her down in sector 3. I think something's happened to the Visa Cash Out Racing ball car. Lots of damage on the front left side as contact with the barrier almost inevitable. Same story for Ashley Dance as well. And I think Jazz Luna serves that drive through, gets back out onto the race circuit proper as drivers now to start to figure themselves out. They'll be driving at about 80% at this moment in time. They don't want to push the car too much. They need to try and stay competitive. That's Lauren Nodding getting past Alicia Hofflack as they crest up through turn 8. Once again, the Williams just doing better than they had done in qualifying, managing to find somewhat of a flow, but we've got to watch it with Alexis Mason. They make their way through turns 14, 15 towards the right-hander of 17. The Mercedes looking very racy in the opening stages of this race so far. They've got Emma Clay, Lee Woodward and Catherine Theo King for company. Esme Chambers not far off the back at all, up to 5th place, or holding firm in 5th place, should I say, from where they once started. And all other drivers just getting themselves accustomed to this Barcelona circuit. Good news to report though, Carl, no rain expected.
Lovely stuff. Alexis Mason went so wide as well at turn 18. 0 tyre preservation on the Mercedes, the medium shod Mercedes for that matter, as Theo King sets the fastest lap and has broken overtake range to boot. So brilliant start to proceedings from the Cadillac driver, and what a result they could have as we breach the fulcrum point to steal a march on the championship leader. Still a long way to go before that's ascertained, as Alexis Mason and Lee Woodward both save their battery as they head into turn 5 and 6. Lainey Milligan with a bit of a moment. Zara Shah Savari trying to pick the pocket of the Red Bull driver. No dice, you can see the rear end complaining as she heads over the crest of turn 3, and that's one to watch out for as this medium stint unfolds. If there aren't safety cars and they do keep those mediums strapped on, the rear of the car gets very floaty through there. They've just got to take an air of caution about when they hit the boost button. Alexis Mason pushing Lee Woodward through turn number 12. She's going to make a move before too long, and she is. Uses the boost, has the outside line, has cleared the McLaren into turn 13. Brilliant piece of innovation from the Mercedes.
Alexis Mason running the wrong race number, which is why it does show Catherine Omerod, who unfortunately isn't with us here this afternoon. It does mean Alexis Mason up to 3rd place. Lee Woodward dropped down to 4th at this moment in time. As yeah, there we go. Catherine's watching along in the chat. Pleasure to have you with us as well. Miss Nutrix gets the better of Regan Boylan, making their way through turn, I believe, 15, or sorry, that was 18 rather, as they crest down the hill. Is something up with Regan's car? Yeah, that's a lot of front wing damage there, Carl.
I'm guessing it's technical issues as well. That's the only explanation I have. I know how consistent she can be. I've watched her practice around Madrid, so I can assume it's a wheel issue, and look at all the damage. 100% damage on the right-hand side. It has to be a retreat to the pit lane, and after only 4 laps, and a scintillating start to the Spanish weekend has all unravelled for the Audi. Miss Nutrix promoted to P6. Heather's in P7. What a start to the race from the Williams driver, and is currently keeping Jessica Ball at bay.
Yep, up 4 places from where she once started. Confirmation there, that was a technical issue, I believe, for Regan Boylan, which saw her claim that bit of front wing damage and subsequently into pit road as well. We've got the likes of Nicole Machuca getting past Katie Grafton further back. The Aston Martin dropping down to 11th place on circuit at the moment. You can see up and down the field a lot of drivers just separating out as we enter into the almost early middle stages of this Grand Prix. If we have that safety car, we'll naturally be dragged back together as well. We've been told, has anyone ever seen Catherine and Alexis in the same room before? Maybe they are the same person. You never know. You cannot confirm or deny these things. But what I can tell you is Alexis Mason is putting the pressure on Lee Woodward. They have broken that overtake gap and they're swiftly running for the overtake line.
I think Lee Woodward's just got to proceed with an air of caution. You saw what happened to her at Barcelona. She had zero tyre preservation available to her, mostly because control attacks. That meant she had to do a two-stop, and that meant her track position got completely nullified. That was the result. Here in Madrid, they're trying to take it a bit more conservative. She's just lifting off a little bit more to save those tyres to make sure the one-stop can work. Boxing at around lap 9 or 10 is what I'd expect, as into the wall goes Lee Woodward. Misjudges turn number 2, and it's completely gone awry for the Season 1 champion, and Esme Chambers will be all over that.
Absolutely, round the outside of 4 and into 5 and 6, tries it too wide in towards the chicane. There we go, easy pass when all is said and done for the Lean Green Racing machine, and that is all down to the damage that has been encumbered by the Papaya pilots. We can have a look on board. 60% damage on the front left end plate for Lee Woodward, 37% on the tyres already. You mentioned this at the start of the show, Carl, where they are just absolutely brutal on tyres around here in Madrid. The debris from the Papaya further back. You can see Ashley Dart getting onto the back of Alicia Hofflack. Regan Boylan's made a place back to find herself in 16th again as they make their way through down towards turn 5 and turn 6 again. This chicane, which is going to be brutal. Airtime for Regan Boylan, jumping across that chicane, but managing it and looking like an Olympic high jumper.
So much airtime over the curves, but unfortunately your princess is in another castle. What I can confirm is Regan Boylan loves a little bit of a comeback job in W1 Sim Series. Has often found herself, through usually no fault of her own, in and amongst the back of the pack, and then just gradually picks off 1, 2, 3, and then before you know it, it's 10, and she's back in a great points-paying position. It happens again, and not my words, the words of Emma Clay, queen of the comebacks in W1. She's going to have to do it again. Lee Woodward, no surprise, into the pit lane to replace the ruined front wing. And it's all the work to do for the Season 1 champion.
Absolutely, hard tyres going on to that Papaya car, and you can see the mechanics working at it. A stop time of 7.5 seconds or so will be a good 5 seconds slower than your traditional pit stop here inside of F1 25, more typically around that 2.2 second mark. As they do just try and exit out of pit lane the best they can. They'll lose a considerable amount of time, but of course they don't have to face essentially the first 3 corners of this circuit. It's direct out and right. You can see that on the track map at the bottom right hand side of your screens. And there we go, the Aston Martin of Katie Grafton just swooping past as they make their way down towards turn 4 and turns 5. We've heard from Sarah Hardy saying they dropped the clutch too early, panicked and got DSQ'd. An unfortunate way to go out of this race, and again, so easy to do when you're just trying to find your feet at a circuit. We also see the other the other McLaren car of Ashley Dart making their way in for, I believe, their second wing change of the race. It hasn't been the debut they would have hoped for. Qualified up in P9, of course, so we know they've got speed behind them. It's just finding, well, the nature and the flow with these walls.
McLaren on the pit wall going off. For God's sake! How many front wings do you think we have? Well, this is how the first one went, scattering around Madrid in several shards of carbon fibre, taking too much speed into turn number 2, misjudging the apex of the corner, and that meant the whole left-hand side of the front wing went completely askew for the Season 1 champion. Up at the front, gap 2 seconds. Catherine Thielking, it's not the dominant performance necessarily you've seen sometimes from the championship chaser. Think to Season 1, where she sometimes monstered it in terms of race pace. But just picking up a 10th or 2 here and there, making the most of it, keeping the consistency, because flow is ever so important around this track. As Nicole Machuca went wide, Lee Woodward inherits 9th place. Good stuff there. Jessica Ball and Heather, their spat is not done yet. A big shimmy out of turn 2, trying to get on the loud pedal as quickly as possible. However, stamp on it, and it shall not be kind.
Certainly won't be. Cresting just over 300 kilometres an hour on the run down towards the chicane of 5 and 6 and through 7, cresting to the top of the hill here for Jessica Ball on the back of Heather looking to try and put pressure on Heather as they make their way over to the right hand of the tough circuit, the tough corner to try and drop the car down through 8, 9 and in towards turn 10 before heading into that long banking loop. The pressure will be on Jessica Bull and both Heather as well to try and do the best they can in this situation. It's attack and defence. It's a game of battleship here in Madrid so far, and neither driver has found each other's.
Absolutely right. Angel Kirby's into the pit lane if you were wondering whether a last to first was possible. Slight hitch in that plan. She needs a new nose. It's 3 noses in the space of about 2 minutes, and that means on average we're going to get quite a few. Oh, Williams in the wall. It's Lauren nodding at turn 8. I said as soon as the tyre wear gets too much, the brakes will overcook themselves. You'll go sailing straight into the barrier, so you're having to weed off the brakes just a tiny bit. Take about 5 metres earlier, maybe 10 metres earlier, as the tyres start to lose their performance. That has not happened, and that means, look at the left front tyre, 150 degrees on the surface. No wonder they're struggling with the mediums.
It's a really tough tyre to be on, and especially with that damage, you're working the tyres even further as you make your way through that long right-handed banking of turn 12. I thought I spotted damage, I do, on Katie Grafton's car. Safety car! Virtual safety car, I believe. Full safety car. Full safety car.
Alexis is off at turn 8. I think she's next to us. It might be turn 6 even. It's turn 6. Alexis Mason has got that completely crossed up. Full safety car, and if anyone was on the medium tyres, 0 front wing for the Mercedes. As Alexis has also left the session. PC's crashed. We can confirm technical issue into the chicane, and there couldn't be a worse place to have a PC crash happen, but alas, it has. Catherine Ormerod apparently is here as well. Don't worry, as she put it in the chat, she is still very much alive, and she's still very much, well, possessing the spirit of the Mercedes car. Full safety car, everybody's going to peel into the pit lane, and they have to take it quite gingerly. Deceptively slow pit lane here at Madrid. Very easy to get a front wing or two knocked off by taking too much speed in. So Catherine Thielking had built up a lead of about 2.5 seconds over Emma Clay. Brilliant start to the race, excellently executed. But now she's got to do it all over again.
Absolutely. Being told it was a PC crash for Alexis Mason. Being told it shut off. They have got it restarted. You're not out of the race yet, Alexis. You are a considerable bit of front wing damage, but nonetheless easy to repair and get going again. Lily Browning informed us they missed pit entry ever so slightly, which is never a good sign to hear. They do just make their way through. I think just as the safety car was called out, they were just making their way past pit entry. Alexis does say only a little better go on to hards. That's probably the way you'd like to see this race go. Ashley Dart with 3-second penalty for multiple track limit violations, and that is through the chicane of turn 5 and turn 6. Front runners in the pits then: Catherine Thielking, Clay, Esme Chambers, Miss Nutrix making a double stack at Ferrari, along with Alexis Mason as well. Heather, Jessica Bull, and almost majority of these front runners expected to come in all the way down to Lee Woodward, who of course pit just 3 laps ago onto a set of the hard compound of tyres, which meant they're in the benefit at the moment. Can Alexis have an invite? That is the question.
Question might well be answered in a moment. By the way, I would ask you all to focus your gaze onto the pit lane, which hopefully we can in a second. But we pay attention to the weirdest pit lane I've ever seen in my life, because who thought that splitting the pit lane in half was a good idea? In what universe? But Madrid apparently decided it was good enough. So lap number 9 of this race then, Regan will be staying out in the Audi car. How many places can she pick up? The damage might not necessarily be as bad as she once thought. She'll be in P9. Heather and Jessica Bull get the jump on Regan Boylan. However, 7th, 8th and 9th place for the Audi driver is not bad recovery so far, it must be said.
Absolutely not, and certainly a signature trademark move of Regan Boylan, who has done this time and time again. We saw it, I believe, just a couple of weeks ago as well. Was down and out in Barcelona, did an amazing comeback drive to finish up in the points. And being told as well, Lily Browning, they put their setup on, and game decided nah, and put the default setup on, which is not going to be ideal around Madrid. It's not going to be one that you want to see. Alexis Mason does rejoin in 6th place. Has only lost 2 places here, Carl, and that is indeed with the front wing change. So, all is not said and done at the moment. Front wing is been replaced. Brand new set of hard compound tyres, which you wish to go on anyway. So actually, Alexis Mason in a very good position, considering they had a PC crash.
And critically, also, the gods of Codemasters have bestowed themselves fondly upon Alexis Mason. She is on the hard compound tyres. She says sorry for the safety car. No apology necessary. If it's technical issues, it's technical issues. Nothing you can do. Crucially still in this race and in P6. and has gifted everyone a couple of laps of respite of Madrid. So really, your saviour is here.
Certainly are. I've just noticed as well, we've got a Haas car in the middle of this pack. That's Angel Kirby, whose the first challenge could be encumbered by Catherine Thielking, already lapping her after just 7 laps of racing. There would be hope that maybe Thielking is feeling generous and move out somewhat out of the way. No requirement, of course, to be able to do this and allow Angel Kirby through, but that would, I believe, free up the majority of this top pack to go fight again, although Thielking could like having the buffer between herself and Emma Clay as they make their way through as things stand. Lily Brown is saying it's still in P10. Hope you're feeling better. Alexis Mason drops to 8th place somehow. How has that happened then?
Might well be. I'm just theorising whether they've tabbed out and have now lagged backwards.
Yeah, screen freezes.
That might well have happened. 2 screen freezes in the space of a single straight. Now down to P10 has almost doubled. This in capitals. Why am P10? The I just doesn't exist anymore. That's because she'd rather hope her eyes were stolen after those proceedings. Now down on the outer reaches of the top 10. And speaking of the lap traffic, it isn't often that leaders in W1 let the lap traffic through. Angel Kirby, or as she's known in this particular part of the world, Angel. In P20, usually won't be let through, and I imagine that will also be the case. Alexis Mason now has even more work to do. 2 screen freezes, put them in P10.
Yeah, not exactly how they like to see this race go through. And actually, what they've asked in chat is a very philosophical question, because they asked why am P2. The real question is what is P2? P10. And of course, you've also got to ask how is P10. They are all very important questions that shall be asked and answered over the course of this race. Lily Browning informs us they're feeling a bit better. They've taken the wet flannel off. That is good news. I'm glad to hear. Lily, hope you're feeling good as the race goes on. We're a third of race distance already, Carl. We've only had 1 safety car out of the max of 3, I believe, that we can be entitled to Bert Mylander appearances here inside of the W1 Sim Series. And of course, all the races that are of 50% race distance inside of F1 25 and the 2026 season edition, which is still the longest name for a bit of DLC ever. Why would you do that to us, Codemasters? But we are getting ready for a restart, almost certainly either this lap or next, depending on when the back runner's able to catch back up to the back, I believe, of Katie Grafton, who'll be the last in this train presently. Yeah, Bert Mylander's going for at least 1 more lap here, so we've got 1 more lap of entertainment.
Love that stuff. Catherine Thielking leads, has led from lights out, pole position, fastest lap, I believe, so far. And also the race lead could be, I don't want to question statistics, but she could well be on for what could be one of only a very few Grand Slams in W1 Sim Series. I'm sure someone has the statistics of it. You'd hoped we would. Unfortunately, it was Madring. My brain went on strike. Heather is also putting in a very impressive performance. 11th place is now P6 on the road. Has kept Jessica Ball at bay during this race as well, as we have Alexis Mason now down to 14th place, as that straight is not agreeing with her. And now the big question, it's not why I'm P14, instead it's a statement, and it's this game sucks.
It's not even 14th anymore, it's 17th.
Oh my god.
They've dropped over 10 positions in 2 laps. They are right at the back of the field.
Another one.
Alexis, if I were you, I'd stop tabbing out. That is honestly what I'd do. That's a 10-second pedal for Alicia Hofflack and a wall. Oh.
That is a wall. That is a big, big blunder at turn number 8. Even under safety car, when the tyres are cold, it can happen. Does mean Alexis Mason moves up a place, and Alicia Hofflack, with a tail hanging firmly between their feet, will now have to retreat back to the pit lane. Meanwhile, up at the front, we're about to go racing, I imagine. The whole pack is going to bunch up. You're wondering how Lee Woodward has managed to reclaim P4, or maybe why they're behind an Aston Martin. The question being, how did this happen? Well, as Carlos Sainz exited the plane doors at the Madrid airport, he saw a strange figure shrouded in shadow. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong book. End of lap number 11, TK. We're going to go racing.
We don't talk about that night, Carl. We made an agreement. But it was Catherine Omrod fastest in the first sector. That's Alexis Mason fastest in the first sector. Thielking fastest in the second, and Emma Clay fastest in the third so far. Notification from race control that we will be going racing. What has happened to Regan? Oh no! In a wall through 17. Carl, what has happened to Regan?
Don't know, Jeff. No, I do know. I imagine it's the wheel again, which is just so damn frustrating every single time. Because now that'll be the 2nd time that's happened this race, and that's in the space of 10 laps. Once in 5 average, questions do have to be asked in what otherwise has been, I will say it now, I mean, the performance from Regan has been immense despite the issues she's had to face, but Catherine pulls the trigger, already pulls out a second. We're going back racing. Emma, of course, can't overtake Angel Kirby until she crosses the line. Now she has lap number 12 of the Madrid. Catherine Thiel-King leads, Emma Clay in second, Esme Chambers in P3 on her W1 full-time swan song. Lee Woodward in P4, Miss Nutrix is in P5. It's a Ferrari 2.5. What a return to W1 as Ashley Dart is trying to make some places up in P11 at the moment. Curious Fire currently in P12. Alexis Mason with the red mist firmly in her sights as bouncing over the curbs they go, and a Haas has gone round. That should, I imagine that will be Angel Kirby that's gone round, and it leads in the wall as well at turn 8. There's another one. Mercedes touches the wall, another safety car in an instant, and that's what can happen round this circuit.
So easy to do, and Season 1 champion Lee Woodward finding the barrier as they made their way through that section of corners. It's as they made their way under the tunnel, and you can see the car pointing the wrong direction. So safety car part 2, Electric Boogaloo, is coming your way in the next few moments. But that was a very chaotic safety car restart. All credit to Alexis Mason, who did manage to make their way through the field up 4 places in about half a lap. Madra looked away for 1 second. I think he looked away for a couple more seconds because there's a lot going on there. 2 cars in the wall by the name of, I believe, Angel Kirby. That was one of the Haas cars, and Lee Woodward. The second, Ash Darts, who's made a dart through the field in the restart there, finds herself in 11th place. But the front 2 unchanged. Esme Chambers in what could be the greatest swan song of all time if they get the win here today.
It could be. I said it, expect a surprise result potentially. Could she potentially gun for a race win in that swan song? What a story it would be. Many stories have been written, forged in fairy tale in W1, but this could be one of the brightest and best of them all. In the lean green machine has got 2 very heavy hitters in the form of Thiel-King and Clay, who have both won races this season. We're yet to see another person take to the top step of the podium. That could change today, for sure.
It absolutely could. Angel Kirby into pit road and a retirement ensuing as well. The driver that couldn't quite make it into qualifying due to technical difficulties is always going to be a tough circuit to come onto with minimal practice, let alone not even getting an opportunity to run through qualifying as well. So really unfortunate for Angel to see her bound. We look forward to welcoming her back for Kota next time around. But as you said, the front 4 looking like a very, very strong front 4. 2 Ferraris in both Clay and Nutrix. Thiel-King and Chambers join them as well. Lee Woodward finds herself down the order in 16th now after that earlier contact with the barrier, and a fresh set of mediums on that car. A fresh set of softs on that car for Lee Woodward. It's mediums for Carlotta Markey, fresh hards for Jazz Luna. They have taken the option almost certainly to go to race end here. Everybody else on hard tyres as well, with the exception of a few others. Regan Boylan with 3 seconds worth of penalties coming her way for multiple track limit violations as well, after that earlier confirmation from Twitch chat that again it was another wheel disconnection, which is so unfortunate to see. But again, I think this is a part and parcel of having a new circuit, isn't it, where some unoptimized areas of the circuit can cause stress to PCs and to consoles as well, and sometimes the USB hubs are the first things that want to try and give up in these situations.
Absolutely right. Down in 18th place, just catching up to the back of the safety car. It would be, I was going to say banter, it would not be banter if the wheel happened to disconnect about now. I'm glad it didn't. So back to the front of the field. Here we are. It's Catherine, followed by Emma, followed by Esme, followed by Sonna. Top 4 right there. And Heather, ladies and gentlemen, is in 5th place. And I think that isn't talked about enough. The Williams driver is having a wonderful, wonderful race. And, well, one could say Madrid, we should... I'm trying to think of an appropriate phrase to sum up the occasion, but let's put it this way: we are never racing anywhere else.
Get Taylor Swift on the phone, because W1 Sim Series and Madrid are never getting back together. And I think that'll be good news for Heather as we make our way through lap 14 of 29. Approaching half race distance, we've had 2 appearances of Bert Mylander so far, and unfortunately the old phrase does ring true. It is safety cars breed safety cars, and certainly has been the case here today. Lee Woodward back into pit road, and someone expectantly, fresh set of hard compound tyres to see that McLaren until race end. That explains the soft tyre run after the wing change last time around. We have got just over 15 laps to go in this Grand Prix. We have got one more appearance of Bernd Mailander written into his contract. Now, we will not see him more than once, I believe, if what has been told to me is true. But I think a lot of the drivers will be very thankful not to see him more than once more over the course of this race distance. I will see how this race restarts, but let us know in chat any predictions that you've got going forwards. We've approached halfway through. What is happening in the second half of this race? Let us know.
Guess is as good as mine. Answers on a postcard, everybody, because you can't write stuff like this. You really can't. Nearly the fulcrum point of Madrid. Look at the names we've got as well in like the high mid pack towards the front of the field. You've got Lily Browning in 7th place, having a great race again. Seemingly illness is giving you incredible superpowers. I'm not saying make it a common theme because it's not a great idea. You are getting results. P7 currently. Lady Milligan in 8th. Nicole Machuca in 9th, or depending on certain graphics, Machurch. Ash Dart in 10th. Zara Shahsavari, Curious Fire, is in P11 currently. They're having a great race out there because consistency is paying off in droves for them.
It absolutely is. We said this right at the very top of the show where it is going to be a race that rewards consistency. Bernd Mailander has a bit of a wobble coming through that turn 19 down towards the final few on this circuit, but it will be Catherine Theoking that leads us away once again to restart on lap 15 of 29, well and truly over the crest of Haas race distance. And it's anyone's guess as to which way this is going to go. We've got 2 more corners to navigate, technically under safety car conditions. There is no driver between Theoking and Clay this time around, which means Clay can push right from the very start, and they'll come through turn 22. It's Theoking pushing, power to the floor, and we crest 150, 160, 170 miles an hour in towards that first corner. Can she hold back Clay?
Here we go again. If anything, Esme Chambers, Emma Clay's got something else to worry about. The Aston Martin looking extremely peppy out of the first 2 corners. A snap from the rear end, from the Ferrari. Esme's going to burn every ounce of battery to try and draw alongside. She is going to draw alongside briefly, just to ruffle the feathers of the championship leader. That's going to lose her more time to Theoking, as Alexis Mason, that is making a move on Nicole Machuca, and the Cadillac of Zara getting very close to that, and Katie Grafton then could pick up on the momentum lost. Not going to happen. It's Lee Woodward that's getting through on Regan Boylan towards turn number 8, and now on the second Audi of Death Not Jazz, but shown barrier to say not today. Audi teamwork, possibly not the most clean technique I've ever seen in my life, as that's Regan into the wall, and in a big way into the wall, and that will be a virtual safety car. My only guess again is it's going to be a disconnect on the wheel. It's so incredibly unfortunate, but that is the Audi's first DNF from W1 Season 2.
What a way to end your race, as much as it's going to be heartbreaking. That was a mighty slam into the barrier for Regan Boylan. And we'll wait for confirmation. The driver is okay. That is good news. Another wheel disconnect here, and such a high-speed section of that circuit as you crest your way down the hill. There is nowhere you are going to go apart from in towards the barrier. But no full safety car, of course. This is going to a virtual safety car. So the drivers have to reduce pace to 60%, and they'll have the opportunity to go again. That means they don't bunch up. We won't have the same situation that we have done twice before in this race so far. Catherine Theoking can continue the race as she was. Emma Clay just behind. The marshals have cleared off that Audi car as they made their way through the second sector. The track is clear in theory. We now just await race control to give us green flag running. But look at this, Emma Clay, half a second in front of Esme Chambers, a second and a half back. And Catherine Theoking, that will continue to ebb and flow over the course of this VSC period, of course, as they make gains and lose gains in minuscule moments of this circuit. Green flag flies then, and we're racing. Once again, Esme Chambers catches Emma Clay napping, tries it into 5 and 6, outside line for the chicane. Esme Chambers, what a move we've just seen, promotes herself to second place, and what could be the swan song.
Call it a death sentence to go side by side through there. Look at the resurrection that Esme Chambers has put into it. Not the case for Alexis Mason, who's gone straight on into the runoff area. And also into the wall is Lainey Milligan. We have another virtual safety car. Another one in an instant. Front wings have been deployed. Look at this. None for Lainey Milligan. Some for Alexis Mason, but not much. You can't have a single moment of racing without a little lull in proceedings. Now it's a full safety car. Bernd Mailander eventually peels out of the pit lane. And in the nick of time, Esme Chambers overtakes Emma Clay. What a marvellous move in a place where we did not expect overtaking. The curbs can throw so many drivers off. And the Aston Martin driver has one car between themselves and what would be a brilliant race win.
It would be a dream for Esme Chambers. Full safety car has been deployed. Lily Browning in chat. Wing damage. I thought the VSC ended. It technically did for about 30 seconds. And then we were back under another one. And then we're back under full safety car. So back to reduced running. The majority will have a few drivers entering into pit roads. We jump back. Yeah, front left wing plates missing for Lily Browning there. Ash Dar has had a great drive through the field so far. We saw their escapades in the opening few stages in towards the pits. Goes Lily Browning. Alexis Mason dropping down to 17th after missing the braking zone and gets disqualified from the session. What has happened there for Alexis Mason? Parking it up through turn, is that 17? I'm curious, what's happened there for Alexis Mason?
I think Alexis Mason just trying to feel something. Madrid has not been her friend whatsoever. And the only solution, which is the correct, well, I think the correct solution, will disconnect, but I think also the correct solution is to ignore Madrid and pretend it doesn't exist. So good move there from Alexis Mason. Out of this race, again, was just not to be. For so many drivers, it has just not been their day out in Madrid. Primarily owing to technical issues. As Jazz is also out of this session. I think has retired in the pit lane. But another driver has bitten the dust. We're now 5 drivers down from the 21 that we started out with. And so the order now looks like this. Field King leads. Esme Chambers is in second. Emma Clay in P3. Miss Nutrix still holding down P4. Brilliant drive. Heather keeps hold of 5th place. Alexis Mason did go slightly straight on at turn 8, but that might have been a wheel thing. Jessica Ball in 6th. Ashley Dart is now in P7. Aiming for the biggest bullseye you've ever seen, and at Madrid, of all places. Nicole Machuca in 8th. Curious Fire is in a personal best of 9th, and Katie Grafton is in 10th. What a race that some of these drivers are having in a circuit very much about survival.
Absolutely, and they say to finish, if you want to finish first you must finish. That is the infamous quote from Michael Schumacher, probably slightly botched by yours truly. But of course, it applies here today. You have to finish the race if you want to try and do well. And for a lot of those drivers, that is the situation we're finding ourselves in. I've got some more inside information from Angel Kirby, who told us their game was running at 10 FPS. They've been issues with it, no issues up until today. And of course, that explains what happened to the Haas car and why they had that earlier in time. Lily Browning says, sorry, Jess, about the contact on the first VSC race start. It's a very tough circuit car. That's what we're understanding here. And I think even, throwing back to when we raced here in the Creator Series, and I don't like to make parallels because they are 2 very different series, but we saw a very similar story where drivers were just getting it wrong.
We did, yeah. It was even the basics. I think it's because you're so hyper-focused on getting every single braking zone right and just getting round the track in one piece, that then you don't have the capacity to think about other things that should come on later down the line. Things like, where should I place myself in respect to the people around me? Where should I brake in terms of not damaging my front wing? Where are other drivers around me going to brake so there isn't a concertina? It's capacity that you have to have on a race circuit, and at a place like this, which is very unfamiliar to a lot of people, it just isn't there. And I don't blame them one bit for that. It is oh so tricky out there.
Not in the slightest. A really, really tough circuit, and one that I think we'll be very glad to see the back of, and quite possibly never to return in another season here in W1 Sim Series, unless people decide that they're over their quarrels and want to go again for at least one more time. We welcome in everybody from Regan Stream who's raided us over on Twitch, and I think the commiserations is the word we extend to yourself after multiple wheel disconnects and things that sound out of your control for the most part. It is not the way you'd like to see races go out, especially not inside of W1, at least. Maybe the Creator Series, and if it's Meraki's race, we wouldn't mind it, but nonetheless, moving forwards. Top 16 then continue to march on here in Madrid. All but one will score points as it stands at the moment. And there's Meraki right on cue. Who would have thought it?
The scripts write themselves, honestly. That's just brilliant. Yeah, commiserations for Regan Boylan. Queen of the W1 comebacks through the field has been thwarted by technological turmoil. But welcome in, thank you for bringing your audience here, and hopefully just enjoy the spectacle now, because Madrid is a hateful venue, and I wish it didn't exist. Safety car is in at the end of this lap, 16 remain, and, well, it's really becoming a gladiatorial war to see who survives to the end.
It is looking that way. We go racing once again on lap 19 of 29. 11 laps to go here at Madrid until it is all over. for the very first time in Season 2 of the W1 Sim Series, and Bert Mailand appeals into pit road. Field King will be under control of the field and launches, by the looks of it, very early through 22 and cresting over 100 miles an hour. It's down towards the first corner for Field King, immediately under pressure from Esme Chambers, who looks to try and make moves. It's a Ferrari 3-4 as it stands, and in towards the opening sector of corners, everything stays the same. Ash darting through the field still. It's Carlotta Marchi and Lee Woodward, Season 1 champion, of course, going side by side through turn 2 and into 3, and it's going to be Carlotta Marchi under pressure as well from Lily Browning. P14 looking to go too wide through turn 4. The fast right-hander rather, but backs out before the chicane. A very sensible racing move. Woodward, though, up to 12th place after that earlier front wing damage, and on the charge, passing Lauren Nodding.
Lee Woodward making places, 2 RBs side by side, and Wise the Chicken exploding. Lap 19 is already kicking off, again into the wall. Lauren Nodding, not for the first time, has met up with Barrier, and Barrier has not been kind here at Madrid. Her teammate's still holding Jessica Ball at bay, but is she now going to use the boost and try and get the inside into turn number 13? She tries it, but she's not quite alongside enough. Heather has the track position, can place the car where she wants, dictate the racing line, but Jessica Ball still very much there. Heather just has to have her wits about her, but keeps 5th place on the road, and all that's doing is allowing the top 4 to escape on into the distance.
4 yellow flags, they crest through turn 13. Lauren Nodding, I think, just finding the barrier. A little bit of a stutter there on even our game side, which is not a good sign. More yellow flags, red. Who's that off? Is that one of the Ferraris? It's Miss Nutrix, misjudging through turn 20, dropping down from 4th to 7th now, through 8th as well, and there's damage surely to that Scuderia Ferrari car. We'll have a look. If they go through the right-hander, yeah, front right end plate missing for Miss Nutrix. Opts not to head in towards pit road, wants to try and keep going, but I think that's going to hamper through the rest of this race, Carl.
Going to try and brave it out until the very end. Through goes Nicole Machuca, through goes Lee Woodward as well. It's going to have to be very, very brave indeed and try and just keep some points on the board. But after such a strong race, that's how Madrid, it's the curse of it. It can twist your arm, it can, well, it does all the wrong things because it's Madrid and we hate it. Catherine Fielking has escaped. The early threat of the Aston Martin, no longer an issue. She's escaping, she's got the consistency, she's got the knowledge, and she's got every single confidence she can bring this home. So now roles reversed. Emma Clay is piling on the pressure on Esme Chambers, and Lee Woodward already back up to P7. No, never mind, side by side, Emma Clay boosting out of turn number 12. Just see it from the helicopter shot, almost makes it stick. Esme, though, has momentum round the outside, but we're certain to see that one again.
Certainly are indeed. Clay looks very impressive through 12 and into 13. Lily Browning past Zara Shatavari as they make their way through the very similar corner of turn 13. More moves made up and down the field. Jessica Ball this time dispatching Heather. Couldn't quite hold the defence. Ash darts in the distance, going off wide as they made their way through turn 17. That invites Woodward, their teammate, to come and get involved as well. Ivy Lily, that's Lily Browning getting past Miss Nutrix. The damage Ferrari dropping further and further down the order. Fastest lap for Field King. After all the carnage and the chaos, we get a full proper lap of racing. Look at the Rebel Racing car further back. That's Lainey Milligan sending it in towards turn 20. Tries to get the move done, does get the move done on Carlotta Marchi, and Lee Woodward past their teammate as well. They're up past Ash Darts and well and truly on a charge back to the front. Emma Clay, though, boosting through 4 into 5 and 6. Retakes 2nd place here in Madrid.
Had to make it happen. Championship leader back up into P2. And knows they've got the pace to try and make something happen potentially, but Field King looks to have this one in the bag. 3 seconds the gap. Madring, though, bites very hard indeed. Heather now has Lee Woodward for company, and Lee Woodward just goes blazing on through. The run of dreams through turn 5 and 6, and now she's through into 5th place. Brilliant stuff. 2nd McLaren also on the scene. We have a 3-second penalty for Curious Fire in P11. Not the ideal scenario for her race, as we have again Lauren Nodding not loving life at Madring. She's off again at turn number 20. Katie Grafton side by side with Carlotta Marchi, who sweeps on through in the RB. Plenty of drivers brave out there to make moves where they're making them, and that's absolutely brilliant.
Unfortunate 3-second penalty there for Katie Grafton, who's under pressure from Alicia Hofflack coming through turn 12 into 13. The battle in front of them as well. Carlotta Marchi alongside Curious Fire. That's Zara Shatavari. So there's battles from 11th, 12th, 13th and 14th on this field. Miss Nutrix did retire. Or sorry, not retired for the pit. Did make her way in towards pit road to get that front wing replaced, deciding that it's not worth continuing racing through with that damage on her car. We've still got Theo King in the lead by 3.2 seconds. Emma Clay will do everything she can to try and chase that down, but was 3/10 slower last time around, which means the gap up at the front ever changing and ever increasing in her favour. Alicia Hofflack losing traction through 20. Easy to do. The Alpine facing the wrong way on this circuit. Does manage to get the car going again and pointing in the right direction, which is good news for some. Ash Darts well and truly on the back of Heather again. Are we going to see a defensive masterclass like we saw in Barcelona for Heather, holding back Regan Boylan when they tried to make the moves in the opening few corners? This time around, it's Papaya putting the pressure on.
So nice, she could well do it twice. 6th place, what a result that would be. The irony being she absolutely loathes Madrid, which is very, very valid indeed. And McLaren trying to switch one way and the other way, find momentum in new places, forge beyond fairy tale, beyond the realms of nature. Now to boost through the banked corner. Do they dare to boost all the way around the outside? Car gets very, very skittish at the rear for just a moment, but sweeping around the outside goes the second McLaren. Ashley Dart hits the jackpot, 180.
Absolutely beautiful from Ash Darts there. Boosted around the outside at 12. Held it when the car almost wanted to let go. And did absolutely great work to hold the car steady. Heather drops down to 7th place. Still would be a good result for herself. You cast your mind back to the opening few stages of W1 Sim Series back in its Season 1 Inception, Carl, where Heather's first points came at Austria. And of course did well to recover and has driven incredibly well over the last few races and continues to do well over the course of this season as well. We'll remind you how the championship looks at the end of this race as Lauren Nodding picks up a 3-second penalty for multiple track limit violations. We have got just 6 laps remaining here in this Madrid Grand Prix. Lee Woodward still on the charge back. They've got Jessica Ball just in front of them, wants to try and make moves in towards turn 4 and through 5 and 6. The slipstream well and truly in effect. They'll have the straight line mode up until this point. Not going to make a move though into 5 and 6. Not a very sensible place to make moves, but maybe lining up into 12.
Here she goes again, turn number 8, show the nose to the inside, 3-second penalty for Heather. Meanwhile, just to pick up on your point, it's now a regular fixture in the points. Think back to that race in Austria. Nowadays, she's just scoring points for fun. That's the journey she's been on, and the journey she's very much continuing with. It's delightful, and 3-second penalty as well for Ashley Dart. It's raining penalties now, as we have, I believe, an Alpine out of the pit lane of Alicia Hofflack, who's got it all sorts of wrong. He's stranded on the second straight, on the back straight for that matter, as we turn our attention to Katie Grafton, who has some of her front wing intact, not all of it. Left-hand side is slightly gone a-begging. Lee Woodward trying to pile on the pressure through turns 18 and 19. Take as much curb through here, because then you open out turn number 19. Maybe not that much, admittedly, but Ashley Dart has got it very, very crossed up through turn 17. Tyre wear kicks in, the brakes become spongy, and you're only going to have one conclusion. Big front wing damage and a retreat to the pit lane. Through goes Lily Browning for 8th, and another smooch of barrier.
Not the way you'd like to see this race go out, and now it's just a case of nursing that car home, managing the damage on the front wing for Ashley Dart, and through the corners that become, well, they count them down till they get that car in towards pit entry, and they do so successfully. They have got an opportunity maybe to go for fastest lap. Points are still on the board here, as we do see Lee Woodward swooping to the inside of Jessica Ball through turn 4, gets that move made, finds herself with an opportunity to try and charge forward. Yellow flag in front. Is that Lauren Nodding? Again it is, through the exit, I believe, of turn 8. Or just the escape road of turn 8, the right-hander. So easy to get it wrong, and a lot of drivers have found misfortune with it today.
They really have. Luckily, only a few more tours to go, and they never have to think about it again for this season. Jessica Ball on her W1 full-time swan song as well, in 5th place. It's been a day of fairy tales in W1. Esme Chambers on for a surefire podium. Jessica Ball on for big points in 5th place. It's just absolutely excellent stuff. Miss Nutrix road to recovery is very much ongoing. She's 4 seconds behind Katie Grafton and taking time out corner after corner. Nearly half a second out just through that corner alone. So there's still very much a top 10 on the cards for the second Ferrari driver.
Never say never in the W1 Sim Series. Anything and everything could literally happen in the blink of an eye. Lap 25 of 29. We make our way through here at the moment. Nicole Machuca on the back of Heather, 7th place for the driver in the Haas outfit. The Williams are switching positions. That's Lauren Nodding, allowing Heather through nice and smoothly in towards turn 20, and 21 and 22 will come a beckoning for both Heather and Nicole Machuca as well. In towards the final corner now to round off this lap, and they'll be very thankful they can count another one off the checkbook. They can mark it off on their walls, knowing they've got less and less laps until they see that checkered flag. Just 5 laps to go here in Madrid. This is the Spanish city centre. They'll be hoping, begging and praying no more appearances of Bert Mylander, with the opportunity for the field to bunch back up once again. We rise here with Miss Nutrix rounding the final corner herself on the back of Katie Grafton, making their way into the opening corner. The Aston Martin looks somewhat defenceless there as Miss Nutrix does swoop on past. Jessica Bull on the back of Lee Woodward hasn't allowed the McLaren to gain over a second as of yet, so still has access to that overtake and the boost available. The question will be here, Carl, how long is Jessica Bull going to be able to hold on to that extra dose of electrical energy?
Not for much longer, it looks like. Just outside of a second, Lee Woodward creeps out of range, and then through the right left-hander, Jessica Bull gains it all back again. Could also come down to that old conundrum of tyre wear that Lee Woodward is experiencing in comparison to the Red Bull. But if you have that surplus of power, it is very, very tricky for the person ahead to try and shake you off, unless you're esports level, in which case, good luck trying to hold on to them. As round the outside of the bank corner goes Miss Nutrix on Curious Fire. There's your top 10, and now 8 seconds to catch up to Lainey Milligan. Could she do it on current pace? She might well be able to.
Have a look last time out. Miss Nutrix just about nearly 5 seconds quicker a lap than Lainey Milligan, so the gap pace looking incredible. Of course, we must remember Miss Nutrix on brand new tyres. They're only 5 laps old compared to the 9 of both Lily Browning and Lainey Milligan as well. So that is the tyre difference between Ps 8, 9 and 10. They make their way through this race. Lainey Milligan still in the back of Lily Browning as well. They round the final corner to start on to lap 26. Just 1, 2, 3, 4 laps to go here in the Madrid city centre. The Spanish flags fly off to the right-hand side. And there will be jubilations. No midday siestas here for our drivers.
Indeed not. And is there any siesta you can put on at a track like this? I mean, look at it. The track layout only a mother could love. It's just a hateful, hateful place as they head their way towards turn 5 and 6. Is Lady going to try it into that chicane? No, is the answer. Backs out of it last moment. Lily does have that front wing damage as well. Let's not forget. So every chance the Red Bull can make ends meet. But if they're going to do it, they've got to do it soon. They've already lost over 4 seconds to Miss Nutrix behind.
Miss Nutrix absolutely having pedal to the metal over the course of this stint so far. Jess Ball as well has found pace in the second half of this lap, has gained about half a second. Lainey Milligan does get the better of Lily Browning, or does she? Here comes Browning back at her through the inside of turn 12, holds place, which is absolutely fantastic. And Alicia Hofflack leaves the session, and not the way she'd like to see this race in 14th, which could mean Lauren Nodding could be on for for points, which could be on for points over the course of this race. Carlotta Marchi, of course, only 11 seconds off the back of Hofflack. And with that AI car, certainly an opportunity to try and make waves here. Keep an eye on Lainey Milligan. There's damage to that Red Bull racing car. Who's this, though? That's Miss Nutrix. Oh, my goodness. Poor exit for Lainey Milligan. A little bit of ricocheting off of Miss Nutrix's car. Goes deep to Lily Browning. Oh, through turn 20. So Nutrix up to 8th place. Finds herself with a recovery drive of all recovery drives. Well and truly in the mid-pack once again.
Picked up damage on the end plate on the right-hand side, but 2 places gained. It's not the most front-wing damage, 40% still on the right-hand side, but she can take that all the way to the end and not too far away from Nicole Machuca up ahead. I was like, why do I hear boss music? Oh, there's a Ferrari. And suddenly 2 places were gained. Absolutely unbelievable. 1 more place potentially to gain for Sona on board into turn 5 and 6. Nicole Machuca hoving into view very, very quickly. There's another 3-second time penalty raised in. Now nearly half the grid with time penalties next to their name here.
Lauren Nodding retiring in pit road, deciding that she is done with the Madrid, and completely understandable. Here's Miss Nutrix on the back of Nicole Machuca, making their way through the section of turns 18 and 9, the 10 and 11 through the banking of 12. And Miss Nutrix does get the better of Nicole Machuca in towards the left-hander of 13. Even I was getting confused as to where we were on the circuit, Carl. It is horrendous. I admit it. It's a bad circuit.
Our resident diplomat, ladies and gentlemen, can't even defend Madrid, and you know that means it's a bad place. Just unbelievable. Lap 28 of this race, still lap 27 for a lot of the drivers, including Miss Nutrix, who now is in P7. What a recovery it's been for the Ferrari driver. On return from vacation, rested, recuperated, rampantly going through the field. Catherine Thielking is about to cross the line to go onto her last flying lap of this Madrid circuit. I mean, what a race. What a race she's had. If anything, it's the top three that have been exemplary. Exactly what we needed to see from drivers at Madrid, and that is consistency, teamed with pace. Most importantly, just keep out of the goddamn wall. And that's what those three have done to an absolute T.
Been a race for Thielking that has gone, I don't want to say somewhat under the radar, because I think that sounds harsh, but she's just been on the perfect lap every lap. She hasn't put a foot wrong all race, and that is what has allowed her to go under the radar. She hasn't been caught up with the drama. She hasn't been caught up with incidents. She's made sure that every one of these 29 laps that she's done has been picture perfect, picked up, I'm fairly sure, no damage. Yeah, absolutely damage free, according to our graphic there. So hasn't even tapped the barrier hard enough to justify getting damage to the Cadillac. She's got one more tour of the Madrid to make herself known. The fans will be absolutely cheering her name, knowing that she's going to come home and take victory in a dominant force. Nearly 6 seconds clear of Emma Clay, a further 9 seconds clear of Esme Chambers, and nearly 20 seconds clear of Lee Woodward, our Season 1 champion, who of course has been finding time and recovering in a drive of their own since the last safety car period. But Catherine Thielking, it's a day to remember out of the Madrid.
It's a street spectacular from the American driver in the American team, and what a way to take and catapult us to the next doubleheader of the Americas as a race winner. Not only that, a pole sitter as well. Not only that, by extension, a fastest lap holder as well. She has ticked off every single accolade there was to have at the Madrid. Look at that. Fastest lap, led every lap, is going to take home the race win. She heads into Texas on top form, at the top of her game. And what was a 7-point gap in the championship is about to compress a whole damn lot.
It certainly is. It's been a drive to remember from Thielking. It's been a miracle in Madrid, whilst other drivers have battled with woes and worries about barriers. It's been Thielking that has kept her nose clean and will continue to do so as she rounds this final corner for the first and quite possibly last time in Madrid. Catherine Thielking takes victory in the W1 Sim Series. Emma Clay will come home in second place. Esme Chambers as well on a swan song, well, I don't say what's the opposite of debut, finale race for Esme Chambers. Will get a podium to see her off. It's then Lee Woodward who will finish in fourth place, our Season 1 champion, with an almighty comeback drive after the last safety car period. And Jess Ball as well, who says farewell today, will come home in fifth place. Again, great results for our two drivers that we say goodbye to.
Absolutely right. Third and fifth. Take a bow. Centre stage of W1 Sim Series. What a result. But now, through the final few corners, Miss Nutrix tried to chase, but in sixth place, recovery to seventh, nothing to turn your snout up at. She goes through the final corner, does Hevar, and it's going to be sixth place for the Williams driver. And if that does not come up as a vote for driver of the day, I don't know what does. Maybe in some regards this will as well. From down in the doldrums of damage to P7 on the road for Miss Nutrix. What a race she's had. And then finally, Nicole Machuca coming through for 8th place. There is quite a gap here. There's a lot of waffle to do. 8th place for Nicole Machuca. No penalties as well. Some brilliant names have forged a path up to the front of the field. Big points all around. We knew it would be a game of survival. And everybody who's finished here today is going to be taking home points.
Massive shout out as well to Ashley Darts on debut, finishing in the top 11 and scoring points for herself. Zara Shahzavar will be the last that comes home across the line, scoring a good amount of points, finishing in 13th. She will get to her name after today, but the front three have looked strong all week, and they all followed the same plan. It was mediums for 8 laps, 21 laps then on the hard Compoundo tyre, and that is absolutely the winning strategy. A lot of drivers will be very thankful that we never have to deal with the Madrid circuit again. It's horrible. Carl, I share in your sentiments. Why is this ever a circuit that was approved?
See, I'm glad people see the vision now. I'm glad people understand. Oh my God, Theo King, do you want to leave some accolades for the rest of us? Cleanest driver, race winner, fastest lap, has grand slammed the Madring. Ridiculous. Just unrivaled levels of pace. Driver of the day went to Laney Milligan, and most overtakes, no real surprise, Lee Woodward scoops up that one. Your full classification then is as follows. Catherine Theo King takes home every single accolade under the sun. Emma Clay, though, limits the damage well, claims home P2. Esme Chambers, the Welsh Wonder, in P3 with Lee Woodward, Jessica Ball rounding out the top 5. Heather, P6, superlative. Miss Nutrix in 7th. Nicole Machuca, Laney Milligan, and Katie Grafton round out the top 10. Ashley Dart, Lily Browning, Zara Shah Savari, Carlotta Marchi, and Alicia Hofflack all made it to the end, all score points. Everybody else did not see the checkered flag today.
Unfortunately not. That's Lauren nodding. It's Jazz Luna, Regan Boylan, and DNF double for the Audi lineup. Angel Kirby, Alexis Mason, and Sarah Hardy, all drivers who didn't see the checkered flag here today. We were going through those accolades, and we obviously mentioned Catherine Theo King, cleanest driver, according to the game. I was just looking over my mother monitor to see how many warnings she got. 0. She did 29 laps of Madrid without a single track or contact warning.
That's impressive. Catherine Theo King, my respect for you just went exponentially skyward. That's brilliant. Fair play. Fair play. And we know she can do that. We were yet to see, I mean, even in Britain, Emma Clay had the disconnect. We were yet to see a race in season 2 where Theo King looked properly dominant.
Yeah.
That was arguably the first top, and that is the first swing of the pendulum in her direction in a big way.
It certainly was, and I think that will change the championship as we make our way through into the next few races. But let's not make everybody at home wait for too long. Let's have a chat with our race winner. Let's chat with Catherine Theo King first and foremost. Catherine, there is a lot of words that we could use to describe today's race. Excellent, fantastic, superb is just a few of them. You quite literally drove the perfect race in Madrid. How does that feel to take the win today?
Honestly, it feels so good because I've had a long work week, and then just to pull off this performance today with no track limits and fastest lap, I think it feels really good.
I mean, there was nothing you could have done better. You didn't even get a single track cut warning, which astonished both Khan and I up in the commentary box as well. So how did you manage to do that? What was your game plan going into today? Of course, qualified on pole with an absolutely fantastic lap. You were one of 3 into, I believe, the 129s. But then from race start, starting from the front, what was the game plan going into it?
Yeah, kind of the plan was just to keep my head down and hopefully kind of keep that lead and do what I always do and try to hold on to that lead and pull away and use that clean air as much as possible. Especially here in Madrid, I think it helped a lot because the dirty air really kills your pace. And so I was able to pull ahead, and then the first safety car came out, and then another safety car, just kind of doing those restarts were very nerve-wracking, but I'm glad I was able to hold it together.
Catherine, I could, again, there are many words in the Oxford English Dictionary and many other dictionaries for that matter that could describe your performance today. I think the one I'll go for was gargantuan, because literally no one could stop you today. It was unbelievable. By my own admission, I did a 50% round my ring. I did get a penalty. Keep your mouth shut. But my question for you is, it's obviously uncharted territory. There's a lot that can go wrong at Madrid, so I'm curious to know how much in the race in particular, if there was any more you had to extract out of your pace today, because it's a track that you can easily get wrong if you just push a little bit too much out there.
Yeah, I think I just left it all out there, except for maybe a bit in Sector 3. I know I'm a little weak there. I've lost some tenths to Emma there in the race today. But yeah, I think I just left it all out there. There's kind of no other pace to extract.
That's excellent. Fair play to you. No, absolutely. And to get no warnings from that as well is truly admirable. We head next week into the next part of the double header, 2 home races with not just for you, but also the team that you drive for. You come off the back of a race win. That must be such a special feeling for you.
It's really special. I'm really looking forward to these next 2 races and being able to represent Cadillac and kind of in this series, and it's truly a great honor. And yeah, and I'll do my best to prepare for those races, and hopefully I could do my best and continue to put on these performances.
Amazing stuff. Carl's managed to mute his mic somehow in doing that, which was hilarious. I saw his mouth move.
Have I?
You did. It's back now. You just didn't say anything. I saw your mouth move. Nonetheless, Catherine, an absolute pleasure to watch you race as always, and we wish you the utmost of luck for the American double headers that's coming up.
Thank you. It was great talking to you guys.
As always, Catherine Theo King, everybody, your race winner from Madrid. An absolute dominant performance from the Cadillac, and I believe, if my maths might be correct, should take away Championship lead. That'll all be determined, of course, when the stewards get their hands on, I'm almost certain, the numerous amount of tickets that are probably coming out of that race. Next up on the chopping block, let's go ahead and have a chat to Emma Clay, who wasn't looking forward to this race from the get-go, but still managed to secure second place on the podium. Emma, fantastic to speak to you as always. Has your opinion on Madrid changed since your practice earlier on?
Absolutely not. It is the worst track I've ever been on in my life. Get me out of here. Honestly, I just wanted to finish that race, and to finish P2 as well was great. Obviously, Catherine in front has taken 4 points out of the lead that I had, I think, because she got fastest lap. But yeah, honestly, just happy to finish on the track, to be honest, rather than in the sky, I guess.
It's a very fair assumption. Of course, let's talk through the race very quickly. Of course, you had an amazing qualifying into the 29s. It was a good run for yourself. Starting from P2 on the grid after Alexis's, I believe, grid penalty. And then you kind of made your way through that race. What was the game plan when you were trying to chase down Catherine throughout the course?
Honestly, like, the safety cars coming out did not help whatsoever. Like, my initial thing was to pit lap 9, get a bit of an undercut. But I mean, to be honest, Catherine's pace was just so... Too much, because, I mean, my medium stint was horror. I think I got 2 warnings in the beginning, so I had to just kind of sit back and, you know, be careful for the rest of the race, because, you know, I'd rather, you know, miss out on P1 than, you know, miss out on, you know, everything else. And you never know when a safety car is going to bunch you up again because of a penalty. And my cat is meowing behind me. Can you stop? But yeah, I mean, it's a bit disappointing because qualifying I got impeded twice. So, I mean, I was literally 8 tenths from my PB. So yeah, I mean, it was a bit not great qualifying. I think if I had not been impeded on my second lap, then I would have got pole for sure. And that, you know, I could have had a chance to defend, but instead not really where I wanted to be, because like in Barcelona I defended the entire race, but didn't I? So yeah. And
just talk us through as well. Obviously, we've had qualifying, we've had the early stages of the race. At what point did you realise that the win probably wasn't on the cards? We saw you kind of at the end start to, I don't want to say drop off pace, because you were kind of still quicker than Catherine for a lot of the laps at the end. But I think that gap just grew kind of exponentially as we went through race.
Yeah, I think like after the last safety car restart, I tried my best just to push on, because, you know, I mean, just to get that 3-second gap behind me as well, push on and try and I think I was closing on her for a little bit, and then we were kind of yo-yoing in terms of pace, and like there was some points where I just started to make a few mistakes. The rears were overheating, and I just thought, you know, I'd rather not spin off into the wall because of my rears overheating, and just hold on to P2, because it's rather the consistency that matters at the end of the day than pushing non-stop and then just making mistakes, really.
Emma, firstly, congratulations. Sorry, I've been searching up some words here. I'd like to get your 2 cents on this.
Yeah.
So I've got here denial, got anger, got bargaining, depression, and acceptance. Which of these 5 words do you think most closely relate to Madring?
I haven't reached the acceptance stage yet, and I don't think I ever will. Probably depression and anger is most you know, calling to me right now in my head, and I think yeah, I hope we never race here again. Honestly, it's horrible. It's especially because of the new update with the sausage curbs that have been put into the chicane. It's honestly rubbish going over them, and I doubt it's any good on controller either, because I saw Lee was struggling quite a lot with the race. I mean, before she got damaged and everything like that. But yeah, I mean, yeah, anger and depression is definitely what I'm feeling. But you know, P2, we move. We're still in the lead, and we'll try and do a better job next time.
Absolutely. Speaking of next time, Texas. I'm sure vibes are extremely more positive than what we've had this week.
I don't know, to be honest. I find Kota, like on the last game, I didn't really enjoy it that much. I mean, Sector 1 is nice, Sector 3 is okay. Sector 2, like on the last game, I was really slow in Sector 2. I mean, I haven't tried it on this game, so we'll see what that proves to be. I've obviously improved myself since the last game as well. But yeah, we'll give it a go. I mean, hopefully we can just have a clean race, no penalties, because track limits there are going to be interesting. Hopefully you can get clean runs in quali, but yeah, I just hope to be just consistent again on the podium, hopefully taking a win as well. We'll see. I mean, you never know how quick other people are around certain tracks, and yeah, I wasn't expecting. I mean, you always expect Catherine to be quick, but you know, I wasn't expecting her to be that quick. You know. So.
Amazing stuff.
Nothing more from me.
Amazing stuff. Emma, always a pleasure to speak to you as always, and congratulations. I've been corrected. I think you are still on championship lead as well. I forgot the points system we run in W1 aside ski. I don't know why I needed remembering, because it's the one George. I'm blaming George. There we go. But no, absolutely. If it's not my fault, it's George's fault, realistically. Yeah. But no, still hold the championship lead heading into the double-double that we find ourselves in America. We wish you the best of luck, and I'm sure we'll see you again next week as well.
Cheers, guys. Thanks so much. Bye-bye. Bye.
That was Emma Clay, everybody. P2 in today's race. And Carl, to my disappointment, there goes the Madrid season opener for Season 3.
I think, you know, there is some... Not that they'll be able to overturn... Not that they're listening. But if there is any time you could use some sort of power play, there probably is a time. Anyway, I think there's P3 to interview. Don't you agree?
There absolutely is. I've just got to find on my list of drivers. There we go, Esme Chambers. Let's have a quick chat with Esme. Of course, going out on a massive high was Chambers. Esme, congratulations first and foremost. Started 5th, find yourself in 3rd on the podium. A good swan song for yourself to see out W1 as a full-time driver.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. I don't think I could have asked for a much better way for it to go. I just made a plan at the start of the race, stuck to it, and when the chaos happened, I just let it happen, didn't lose my focus, and that set up, after about 100 safety cars, the perfect ending.
Absolutely, and at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. One of, I believe, 4 drivers to pick up only 2 track limits warnings, so kept it clean over the course of 29 laps. And at the end of the day, we said this at the top of the hour, and we're going to say it again, it was a race of consistency that gets you those results, and that was certainly a race that you saw yourself through. Let's just jump back to qualifying quickly. Of course, you've qualified P5, not quite close enough to be able to benefit from that 2-place grid penalty of Alexis Mason, but started right behind her. How did that feel, knowing you had such a quick driver in front of you?
No different than every other race seems to have gone. It always feels such a big gap, but I thought if I can do something on lap 1, then I'll go for it, try my best. I knew that they have the better pace. It's not worth picking a fight that I can't win. So I just let myself settle into a rhythm and let them get on with it. And obviously I'd rather get another position up, but knowing I'd lose it anyway, it's not worth dwelling on it too much, because it all worked out by lap 29 anyway.
Absolutely. Carl, I'll hand over some questioning to yourself, whether you choose upside down glasses or not.
Thank you kindly. I'm still just bewildered by Emma saying that she doesn't know how she feels about Kota.
Honestly.
It's just the cheek of it, isn't it? Esme, congratulations. I apologise. I apparently am talking to you now in Vaseline quality on TK side. But I think this is a question that I've asked a few drivers in W1, and I think I'll ask you much the same thing in terms of you have experience in both F1 25 and F1 26. I'm curious to know, in terms of circuits, has your preference changed going from the 2025 cars to the 2026 cars?
Absolutely. And some tracks it's for the better, some for the worse. I know we hit Silverstone for the first race of the season, and I felt so much better being able to follow other cars, which the dirty air on 25 just would not allow. But there are other tracks where I really start to struggle, and I think Barcelona was a very good look at that, and Canada is one that I've always gone quick at, but it didn't work out earlier in the season. Like, it's very track dependent, and these cars are not my favorite to drive, but I go over 25 really. And I guess in terms of racing, these are better. You can follow, and different battery strategies can shake it up, and I'm sure that's what's making it so entertaining on your side, even if it gets a little frustrating in the cockpit. So it's a difficult question to answer, but certainly I've enjoyed some tracks more than others.
Oh, it's really good to know. And if you could, like, there's one or maybe even a couple of moments of in W1 as a full-time driver that you highlight and go, yeah, really enjoyed that. What moments or races would you pick?
Imola, it's definitely one to start that flying CSC restart, thinking, oh my god, I'm going to get the lead, to I've not quite got it. But that was a high moment, and of course tonight, the highest of highs, and the best I could ask for. And I also do think back to my debut social race. I think it was in Spa, and yeah, my first time hitting this track, I was just flying, seeing all these people, and thinking, yeah, this is great. I'm loving this lead.
Absolutely. Listen, it's been, before I hand you over to TK, I will say it's been wonderful to have you as a full-time driver. I hope sincerely one day you will return in the full-time roster, because it's been brilliant to watch you race. Please take care of yourself. I hope everything's okay, and, you know, don't stay away from racing for too long, yeah? Hopefully we'll see you soon.
Thank you, Carl.
Yeah, Esme, I echo what Carl said. It's been fantastic to see you drive and develop over the course of the last season and a half to becoming a full-time driver as well after your initial step-ins, and we wish you absolutely all the best going forwards. We'd love to see you back as a reserve driver, hopefully more than once, and who knows, for Season 3 we'd love to see you back as a full-time driver as well, but it's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you very much. We'll see where it goes. I definitely don't want this to be the end, and just taking a step to the side for a while.
Absolutely. Well, we wish you all the best with that, and hopefully everything goes well. Esme Chambers, everybody, P3 in today's race. An absolute pleasure and a swan song for her W1 career so far, because it is only a comma on her career. It is not a full stop. The story is not over yet, Carl, because there is certainly, I feel, more to come from Miss Chambers as well.
I really do think so. And, you know, I look forward to that. I look forward to when she returns. Maybe even bigger and better and even faster than she left. And that would be quite some achievement. So I'm all down for that. They've done themselves proud, though, have Esme and Jessica. Great news is, as Victoria quite rightly puts it, it's not a goodbye. It's just a see you later.
That it absolutely is. Carl, as well, we've got one more person who wants to come in for a chat. Lainey Milligan, driver of the day as awarded by the game. I'll let you have a chat with Lainey about over her driver of the day performance.
Ooh.
Thank you, Tom. Lainey, welcome in. Hello. Welcome to the
Hello.
commentary pen. Driver of the day inside the top 10. That seemed like quite a fun race for you.
Oh, fun is an understatement there. It was brilliant considering the doubts I had for Madrid. Yeah, that was very fun.
Oh, it seemed absolutely excellent. Lots of beautiful battles that you were embroiled in throughout that race. So it looked like you had the confidence, I think, over many drivers. You seemed to pick up Madrid really, really well out there. But are there any battles that you particularly enjoyed out there today?
I had that many battles that it's hard to pick one. But I think going from P17, getting that first safety car, and getting that perfect pit, my restart was good, and getting those couple of corners, that basically the end of the first safety car restart was the best battle, I think. Just seeing faster drivers behind me as well, making mistakes, I think has shown my improvement. So yeah, that one.
No, good stuff. And finally, before I hand you over to TK for questions, Madrid, yay or nay?
Well, before this race, I would have said nay, never again.
Fair.
But after that, I think W1 has proved it can be a good track. You just got to be careful with it. So I might say yay for that one. I think I'd like to do it again.
We're all winning, TK.
All getting slightly somewhere. Lady, talk to us as well. Fantastic race from yourself. You went for the two-stop strategy in the end, I believe, if my data tells me correctly. Yeah, we did. 2 stints on the hards, 1 stint on the mediums. Talk us through, was that the plan from the very get-go, or was that something you kind of adjusted through safety cars and everything else that kind of happened?
Well, it definitely wasn't the plan. I was planning to go mediums. My hards were looking good after the couple of safety cars, but then I'm surprised I got driver of the day, considering there was a mistake where I nearly lost my full wing, had to pit again, decided to go hard so I could fully push, try and get back into the points, and that sort of worked out for me. You know, getting up to, I think, P9, P8, which is big points in W1. That was good for my championship, considering I scored 1 point for the whole season before this. So, yeah, it wasn't the plan, but I never have a plan.
Can't go off plan if you never had a plan to begin with. I like that strategy. It can't be wrong if you never knew what was right to begin with. Eleni, first and foremost, again, a massive congratulations. Some fantastic points you've scored here today, and I'm sure shooting up that championship table when it goes out sometime next week. It'll go in the Discord in the next few days. But an absolutely outrageous drive from you, heading into that doubleheader at Australia and America as well.
About that doubleheader, I won't be there for COTA, but I will be trying to get there for Las Vegas, people. Maybe another drive of the day. I would just like to say before you kick me out,
you make it sound so harsh.
But before you do, I'd just like to say to everyone watching the stream right now, thank you so much for supporting these two guys who are very good at their job. Thank you for supporting us on track. And just being a dead nice community. You're better than the ones that left on 2020, I tell you that. So yeah, thank you guys.
Absolutely fantastic. Pleasure to have you as always. And I'm sure, as you rightly said, we will see you again, hopefully, when we head to Las Vegas under the lights. It's been a pleasure, Lainey.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Lainey Milligan, everybody. P9 in today's race. Season's best for her. And it goes to show just how much everybody is improving over the course of the season. They're getting used to these regulations. They're getting used to this quality of car. And they're not quite getting used to the Madrid. But we're past that. Madrid never happened. It happened in terms of points, but we forget all about this.
I got woke up from a really nasty nightmare, and I never have to revisit it, which is great. But it's what we're here for. We're here for the journey. And Madrid was about adaptation. It was about seeing who would gel fastest with a new circuit. That was very, very tricky and technical, to its credit. And we saw who did. We saw who made the most of that, and we saw people also never give up, which is wonderful to see. It's everything that W1 is about, and even more besides.
Absolutely, and never giving up. And you've seen it from so many drivers. And most of those that did end up not finishing this race, the majority of those actually came through mechanical or game DNFs. I think at least over 50% of those that retired didn't do so by their own fruition, which actually goes to show just the mental fortitude that a lot of these drivers have got, more so than probably some of the top-level esports drivers, because we all know the meme that as soon as one thing goes wrong, off the side of the road they go. Anyway, moving swiftly on, let's go ahead and have a look at where our calendar takes us next for the rest of this season. We've reached that halfway point. We've had hump day. We are on Wednesday, if this entire calendar was a week long. And now we head for the final 5 races. It's a doubleheader in the United States of America. More freedom than you can fill your trousers with for heading to the Netherlands and Zandvoort, Mexico City, and then Saudi Arabia to finish off our season here in Season 2 of the W1 Sim Series. Carl, 1 track each for looking forward to and not looking forward to.
Oh, that's a tough to call one, isn't it? I'm going to say I'm looking forward. Weirdly, I think I'm looking forward to Zandvoort. I think Zandvoort will be a decent little track, better than some people think. And then, rather counterbalancing, I think the next track, Mexico, is going to be a bit of a contrast in terms of the overall, maybe not looking forward to stuffs. But who knows? I'd like to be proven wrong. It'd be interesting, though.
I'm going to almost echo your sentiments for a track I'm not looking forward to. Mexico will be interesting because it's very much a battery management circuit. It was tough on the 2025 regulations, it's going to be worse on the 2026 regulation. But hey, lots of overtaking opportunities. It's a circuit that is very open, and you can make overtakes on it. The literal opposite of what we had tonight. Fast, high speed, they're the same thing twice, but you know what I mean. A track that I am looking forward to is Texas. I love the Circuit of the America, more so in GT cars, but I think this 2026 regulations might open up some good opportunities with how quick you can recharge the battery, because through the S's you're going to be charging, through the third sector or the second sector you're going to be charging, you've got really 2 medium straights in order to try and burn the battery, into big red you can charge because of how uphill it is. There's going to be lots of opportunities, I think, for overtakes to happen when we do head to the Circuit of the Americas next time out. And of course, you don't want to miss that, 7 PM here on the W1 Sim Series channels, whether you're watching on Twitch and or YouTube. And if you haven't done so already, follow us on all the other social medias. There's Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. I've said that already. Reels? No, that's a different thing. Threads, that's a separate one, apparently. I don't have it, but apparently we're on it. Anyway, Carl, where can the lovely people at home check you out if you want to do so just a little bit more?
Well, I'll tell you where they can't find me. Masquerading with meerkats around the Madring.
Oof.
You won't find me there. Hate that place. But where you will find me is at my name, Carl Poranic. You type that in on pretty much any internet, you'll probably find me there. TK, where can the lovely people find you?
Tell you where they can find me, and that's mailing malicious memos to the management of the Madring. You can find me there. Unfortunately, my printer has run out of ink, though. But you can check me out online at They Call Me TK on pretty much every single social media. Well, thankfully, it's one and done for the Madring. We probably won't ever come here again. It's been a tale of one half, and that one half was atrocious. It's never happening again. Yeah. Carl was right all along. I should have listened to him. Realistically, that's on me. But actually, as we all said at the start, it's on the drivers. 23 of them in total for voting for this godforsaken circuit. But until we see you next time, in a more open and traditional race circuit, the Circuit of the Americas, from all of us here at the W1 Sim Series, good night and God bless.
Just say run, and I will follow you anywhere. And you have my heart, even when I am not there. Just say run. Just say run, and I will follow you.